uncover the secrets that nobody knows. From aliens to UFOs, we're ready to explore. Strap in and get ready for a wild, wild ride for sure. Welcome to the Coley and Marky Show, where we uncover the secrets that nobody knows. From aliens to UFOs, we're ready to explore. Strap in and get ready for a wild, wild ride for sure.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Coley and Marquis Show. I have to tell you guys something really weird happened. I am so sorry, everyone. Our interview, we have a pre-recorded interview with Jesse Beltran, and something very, and I'm going to be honest with you, this is kind of weird. This has never happened to me before, so I'm going to just say it out loud. Our interview is somehow not accessible. The file on my computer is here. I'm looking right at it. It says it's here. I literally, before we started the show, I had the interview ready to play. But whenever, about 3 minutes before the show, when I connected everything, it's no longer accessible. In case you guys don't know who Jesse is, I'm not sure if anybody in the audience knows who our friend Jesse is. By the way, we had a very, it was an amazing, very informative, very detailed, and data-driven conversation with Jesse. And it was about implants, ironically. It was about how, not just implants, but how the government is essentially potentially putting these implants into people, and he has a 20-year research study along with other scientists and medical professionals to essentially study these implants. He's documented all of this information, him along with his colleagues. He has a very detailed documentation, some of which has been shared with us in the interview. And again, it was all about implants, and implants done by the government. But I'm telling you guys, the weirdest thing happened. That interview is no longer accessible as of 3 minutes before the show began. So I have to be honest with you guys. I'm a little panicky. I would like for you guys to just bear with me for a moment until I figure out what to do at this moment, because this is a very important and very, I think it would be an interview that everyone would benefit from. Like I said, this in case you guys, again, in case anyone hasn't been listening, this is the Coley and Marquis Show. My name is Marquise. My co-host will be here with us soon. But until we get this figured out, we won't be able to have the regular programmed broadcast. Like I said, for those of you jumping on, thank you for coming in. We had a pre-recorded interview with Jesse, and this is the craziest thing happened. Jesse Beltran, and the craziest thing happened. The interview, as of 5 minutes before the airing, is no longer accessible. Again, I'm looking at the document right now. I see that it's available, that it's connected, it's backed up, it's been downloaded, everything is fine, but I cannot access that document. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit panicky. This is not clickbait. I'm not trying to, gain any views. I'm wondering if somebody, someone blocked my access to the interview, to the pre-recorded interview. I don't know what to say. I'm so sorry, guys. I gotta be honest. The interview with Jesse, again, was very, very informative, very detailed. And not only was Jesse and his colleagues waiting for this interview to air, because we had planned on this for several days, I was very excited to share this with everyone. It was one of the most important interviews, I think, of my time. I've had a few of those. This is one of those very important interviews, and I can't access the interview. I have access to every interview. I did restart. I restarted the computer. I did all the updates. I checked for my driver's update. I made sure everything was backed up to OneDrive. I made sure that Zoom had everything backed up. But even when I try to access it in Zoom, like on the website, which it was backed up in the cloud and on my computer, it is the only interview I cannot access. I'm able to access every interview that I've had, every one. I could play one right now for you, but the one that I cannot access is the one from Jesse. And I'm not an idiot. I mean, well, not generally. With this stuff, I'm pretty well versed at how to use this technology, and I am unable to access it. Um, it's not YouTube. A little twisted. It's not YouTube. It's actually it's directly on my computer. And hold on one second. Let me just show you, just to show you guys what I'm seeing here. And honestly, I'm kind of panicking because I've never had anything like this happen, and I don't know what to do. I mean, give me one moment while I pull up the document and show you what I mean. So, and I was literally just looking at this document. I would moments before this began. Um, I was looking at the video. I was watching the video. I viewed it, and now this is what it says. So if anybody, maybe somebody knows something that I don't know. Let me share my screen here. Give me 1 second. This is the screen that I see here. It's a blank screen. Conversation with Jesse Beltran, and the spelling is off. But this is the interview with Jesse. It's missing. And it was playing moments before the show began. Moments before. First time in my entire time streaming online, first time in my entire time doing this, have I ever seen a document do this weird thing. I don't know. Does anybody have any idea? Send the file to Coley and have her send it back. Your description will just... Yeah, it's... So hold on 1 second. So the document itself doesn't exist. It looks like it doesn't exist. It looks like it's there, but I don't know how to describe it. So I also checked in my trash can. So I was like, oh, maybe it accidentally got, trash canned. No, I went into my trash can, looking for the videos. It's not there. I type in his name. It's not there. I go to my documents tab, type in his name as well. The Zoom meeting comes up, all the Zoom, everything looks good. But when I check out the recording, it's not there. It's gone. As a matter of fact, I can't find that recording anywhere at all anymore. It looks like it's uploaded to the cloud, but I cannot access it. When I go into the OneDrive, on the OneDrive's website to look at the uploaded documents, it says something went wrong. I can't access my OneDrive folder on the interweb. Ironically, I have all the documents that Jesse sent me from the conversation we had that I recorded, by the way, and uploaded. Can't access it. I can access the documents, which is strange, but I can't access the interview that we had. Yeah. So I hear your suggestions, everyone. I really do. I just I don't know what to do at this point. Yeah, I don't know what to do, and I'm terribly sorry. Again, I apologize. Does anybody want? So I'm looking at our team here. Team, can someone jump on with me? Because there are some other things I wanted to talk about that I'm only biding time for the second hour of this show, because in the second hour we do have a guest for the second hour to talk about Bigfoot. And Polly, if you can jump on, that would be great. I have some. There are other things that we could talk about. But I am wholly embarrassed, and not only am I embarrassed, I'm a little scared of why that happened and how that's even possible. Never in my time. So, CMTS team, I'm going to share I'm gonna send an invite into our chat. There are some things that I do have to talk about for everyone, um, that are relevant to the topic, of course, at hand for the first hour. So let me see if I can send that to the team, and then if anybody wants to jump in, please do. So here we go. In the meantime, we are live on lots of platforms now. We finally are able to stream on Facebook. So for all you Facebook watchers, what's up? Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to see you in the chat. We're, of course, on YouTube at Dimensions of Reality Podcast, all one word, Dimensions of Reality Podcast. We are also on Helix Rock Radio at rockradio.live. So for you radio listeners, what's up, fam? Good to see you. Good to see you. Or good to talk to you, because you can hear me, but I can't see or hear you. But it's good that you're here. I'm glad you're listening to us, or at the moment, me. So my gosh, guys, this is, again, I'm wholly embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed at this. And you know what's crazy, because I've heard of people having some weird situations like this where they have a specific interview that they have, but somehow the document gets lost or whatever. But I've never had it happen to me before. I've talked to a lot of people, guys. I've talked to many people, and I've never had this happen before. Never in my time doing this ever. And I honestly don't know how it's even possible. I'm still looking for that. I'm still looking this again. I'm looking directly at this. Let me actually show you guys the document that I'm looking at. There's a bunch of other documents, but let me share my screen. I'll show you here. Here is my documents right here. So check this out. Here is the, wait a minute. There it is. Conversation with Jesse. And there's, you see the two arrows that are kind of in a circular motion. Well, that means that it's trying to upload, but something stopped the process. Everything that's check marked green is uploaded. All the videos I've had since 2020 are here, except for one. Jesse. When I click on that, it gives me that screen that says we couldn't open conversations with Jesse as we can't get your OneDrive storage right now. Check your internet connection. Well, I'm live. My internet connection is fine. So I cannot imagine how that's even possible. Guys, the information that Jesse shared with us is profound. And I'm going to see if maybe we can kind of salvage the relationship, because I hope Jesse's not upset with me. I didn't do anything wrong. I did the same thing that I always do in routine. I pulled up the document as I would any other document in routine. And somehow that one video is inaccessible. Yeah. Date modified was the 6th, which was when we uploaded it. That's when when I downloaded the video. So I don't know. Okay. So maybe slow uploading. No, listen, I thought that too, a little twisted. I thought that as well. The problem is that whenever I went to view the document, it played. I was able to watch the video. I actually played a few seconds of it, of course, to test it out, to make sure that that I could use it. And it worked just fine. It played just fine. I said, oh, fantastic. Great. Closed the video. Checked for updates. Everything was up to date. Checked everything. Went to StreamYard. And when I went to share the video in preparation for the show, it was no longer accessible. That's when it started giving me that you can no longer, you can't access it anymore, that they can't connect to OneDrive. The Zeta Reticulans, those sons of mother, dagnabbit. Blame it on the Zeta Reticulans, guys and gals. Blame it on them. In the meantime, there's a lot that's been going on this last week in the UFO UAP field. One of the things that I do want to talk to you guys about, I know that we talked about Elizondo's book, but there's a lot. There's actually there's a lot of information that's coming out about his book in terms of, let's go to x.com. That sounds terrible. Twitter. There's a lot of people that have come out and made some claims. First claim that I want to kind of address, and this is just my perspective, everyone. I don't know if you've all heard about it. Lou Elizondo has a book coming out. It's coming out very soon. I'm very much looking forward to the book. Um, i- I think that, to be honest, I think there's going to be some revelations in the book. The book is called Eminent. It should be here, I think the 20th, I believe, or no, let me see. Sometime in I think the 20th. After the 20th, that's when it launches. So I'm going to be getting my hands on the full book. I have read some of the leaked, pages of the book. Several chapters have been leaked, and it's very interesting. When I talked to Grant Cameron about a week ago, when me and Coley talked to Grant, Grant was talking. We didn't even get a chance to talk about orbs because we went over so many different things, a lot of which really helped kind of change my perspective about Grant even more, because my perspective of Grant Cameron was different than it was in recent years. But even more so now that having had a conversation with him, I can get an insight into how he really thinks and sees and perceives the phenomena. We're not fully aligned. I don't think any one of us is fully aligned, but we are definitely aligned generally. And more importantly, I think Grant is not only a rational, intelligent person, but I think that Grant is an informed uh, and knowledgeable person when it comes to making the right decision about how to view something like this, namely the phenomena. So orbs. He's been talking about orbs for quite a while. I never thought that they were a real thing, but not that they weren't real, but that they were predominant, like they were something that to even be paying attention to. But one thing that I learned in this leaked book, in the leaked pages, was that not only are they real, but there are different kinds of orbs, different colors, and each color represents um, a different type of presence. So, for example, some of them are pleasant. Some of those orbs are pleasant. Some of those orbs are friendly. Some of them are hostile and should be avoided at all costs. In Brazil, I know most of you are aware, there was a town in Brazil, a couple of them, but one town in particular, that was being essentially assaulted by these orbs. They were going through people. They were going through their homes. They were going through walls, going into their bodies, and then presenting these poltergeist-like effects in their homes, as well as presenting these health effects that were akin to radiation, which was affecting an entire town. So much so they had to involve the military, and the military went in and they kind of helped to try to help the town, but nothing could be done. So eventually, or the police, or whatever. So eventually they were like, listen, we just deal with it. They dealt with it for a while. And that's not the only town that's dealt with it, but Brazil is one of the most notable places that had orb attacks. Now, this brings up the question of what are, at least in my mind, what is the phenomena, right? What is it? And I think it's a multitude of things. I think it's many, many different things. I don't think it's any one thing, but I also think that it presents itself in many different ways. And the crazy and not funny, but the interesting thing about this is that I've learned a lot of people who once had one perspective about the phenomena. We have a famous doctor that we've all heard about from me. Oh, we talk about him often. You know his name. He, even in one of his latest documentaries, in one of his latest interviews, some of his latest interviews, he talks about a menacing force. He doesn't use the word menacing. He does use problematic or something to that effect. But it involves, in his opinion, the interdimensional beings, which are more problematic than what he believes are extraterrestrial. So he thinks that there's extraterrestrial, however, that there's also this other element that is interdimensional, and that the extraterrestrials are here to help us and to save humanity, and they're like gods. I use that in my own term. He doesn't say the word gods. He does say all the other things. Further conjecture on my part, he thinks that they're here to save us all, like these saviors of humanity. I'm not so sure if all of the intelligence are doing that, but again, differentiating between which ones are which, it's a part of this field. And one of those things that I've learned lately is that the orb phenomena has also multiple different types of manifestations. Skinwalker Ranch talks about it as well. By the way, I've been reading Skinwalkers at the Pentagon. Wow. It goes over extensively and in great detail how OSAP and ATIP developed, how they began, how they developed, who was behind it. It really validates a lot of what Elizondo said, by the way. Again, you guys could check that out for yourself. I would recommend, please please, please, please reading that book just for the sake of learning, if anything. It refutes a lot of what John Greenwald, it not directly, but by the nature of the information presented, it disputes a lot of what John Greenwald's his objection is to what Elizondo's claims were about his work with ALSAP and ATIP and how they're separate. They are not the same thing, even though it has been said, it has been claimed that they are the same. They are not the same thing. And one of those things that was, I did drop that, by the way, that I dropped a link for the show for somebody to join me here in the team chat. But again, the orb phenomena is one of those things that is part of this multitude of phenomena, the things that happen, things that are presenting themselves in different ways. And I think that for me, it's important that I share with you all some of this information, because I think it's important for you to expand your perspective. Not everything is love, light, and happiness. Not everything is evil, darkness, and Satanism. There's this dichotomy of the phenomena and many things in life. There's a yin and yang, as we talked about last night in our show last night with Daryl. And I think that for anyone who has this perspective that it's all good and they're all here and we're all the bad ones, I think you should take a look in the mirror. Are you all bad? Is everything about you negative or positive? Of course not. And if you were to look at around you, everything in your experience in life tells you that there are a multitude of types of people, and they all present themselves in a multitude of different ways. And not only that, but there can be good and bad in one person. One person can hold good and bad views and perspectives, and can have a good or bad and both impact on other people and themselves. You can't be so simplistic as to think that it's all one thing. I don't believe that. You could say that at the essence of reality, at the core of the nature of all things, we're all the same thing. We're all subatomic particles, or if you go with string theory and everything, you could say that. You could say that at the core of it all, we're all one. That's wonderful. But we don't experience any of that as this oneness that has been talked about. We experience it as a dichotomy, as you say, as duality, a little twisted. Mentions in the chat. Thank you for that. We experience it kind of like spaghetti on the wall. It's just like all out there. It's all happening all at once. As the movie goes, everything, everywhere, all at once. And it's all different. Yes, it can be a part of the same picture or the same puzzle, but each piece fits differently. And it presents as a whole and in part different perspectives throughout. So we have to, the whole point of me mentioning any of this is to kind of get you guys to just like open your minds. And a lot of you already have, but some people haven't, to the possibility that there may be elements to this phenomena, UFOs, aliens, whatever, and the supernatural, that are good and bad, both. And to ignore one I think is a grave mistake for us all. But more importantly to yourself, because you have to live with and die with yourself. So expand your mind, fam. Expand your mind. And again, I have to apologize again thoroughly for we had a planned first hour. But I don't want to get into that. And I'm going to contact Jesse, and we'll work on getting another interview. Hopefully live next time. So yes, orbs, the different types of orbs, different colors of orbs. Now, another thing that I learned over there have been, there's like a new whistleblower. I want to give credit to Vetted, because Vetted actually has released some really interesting videos. Now, listen, me and I think Patrick is his name. Me and Patrick we don't jive in terms of perspective. I've never met Patrick before. I've never met him. I absolutely love his work. I follow him closely, but I'm sadly disheartened by his perspective. A lot of what he does, kind of like how the media does this thing where they kind of like lead you to a perspective, to a conclusion, instead of giving you information and then stating, hey, this is my perspective, and then letting you decide. he does this thing where he kind of like frames a thing in a way that leads you to that perspective that he agrees with, and it's very unfortunate, but you can't deny a lot of the information that he presents is interesting. He did a recent review along with one of the investigators for that Las Vegas alien case, where he talked with a gentleman who his name is Stephen Diener. I think his name is Stephen Diener. He investigated. He's Stephen Diener, by the way, is a podcaster and an investigator of the Unidentified Alien podcast. And he goes over some new information that was talked about, some new details and some new data on that, and analysis, I should say, on that. I'm going to bring Scott on. Scott, what's up, my guy?
Hey, everybody. Yes, sir. I can hear you fine.
Fantastic.
Can you hear me?
Scott, yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear, my friend. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. So,
love what you're doing, man.
Thank you, sir. Scott's on our team, by the way. Scott's one of our team members. So I did put that. I posted the link to the conversation here for the first hour. It's going to be us just chatting it out, talking about some things that some news that has happened, that has been released lately from different people, from different platforms. I like to look at all these things and follow these people and talk about all the things that I learned through the week. We don't usually get a chance to talk about the news and updates, but because we're usually interviewing people, we've essentially become like an interview show, which is awesome, by the way. But there's a lot of research that goes into what we do, man. I do a lot of research on top of everything else that I do, most of which is through Audible and auditorily. So like listening to podcasts, listening to reviews, and listening to interviews myself. That's how I learn most of my information, because I don't have a lot of time to actually, read a lot of different things. So I read on the go. And so I listen a lot more than I read lately, especially. But yeah, man. So that I talked about Elizondo's book and how these orbs have different, they present themselves differently. I've talked about the new alien interview and how alien encounter in Vegas. You remember that interview where the Hispanic family, they were encountering these beings they thought were aliens. They said they think they crash landed in their backyard. They saw them. Well, I saw the video, and there was a new analysis of that video, and some of it was kind of ridiculous. I can't get with it. I
saw a lot of that.
You saw that? Let me see if I can pull up.
Yeah, they were actually having after that encounter, they were having demonic activity.
Poltergeist. Yeah, poltergeist. Yeah. So I'm gonna show you.
No, it was demonic.
I guess I would say that poltergeist and the demonic are kind of synonymous in my opinion, but you're right. They themselves called it poltergeist, or sorry, demonic. I called it poltergeist because I personally think they are synonymous. Poltergeist, and it's all evil activity, right? It's all demonic, evil, whatever. Now, let me show you something here, Scott. I want you to take a look at this picture. I know you said you saw this.
I don't think it's quite the same.
Well, you know what? You'll have to fill me in afterwards here. Let me present this because I am open to being convinced of the differentiation, my friend. So let me pull up this window of the let's see your Chrome tabs, Las Vegas. All right, so check it out, guys. So this is an image that was presented by Patrick of the video. So Patrick's on top. I'm going to give full credit to Vetted. Vetted, of course, is the podcaster, YouTuber who put this information out. He spoke with Stephen Diener of the UAP podcast, or the UAP Alien podcast. And there was a new analysis. Now, here's an image that is claimed to have an outline of an alien. You see the picture, you see the image on the screen here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Can you see that? No, you can't see. So, okay, let me just show you guys. So the chat.
I see the hand-drawn image in the circle.
Exactly. Thank you for pointing that out. It looks ridiculous. It looks like he just hey, I'm going to draw this picture of an alien face. And first of all, let me just point out a couple of things that I don't understand. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just
it's like a little kid drew a picture of Spider-Man.
It looks ridiculous. So it has like a little antenna over here, and like, what? Come on, man. Is this Mars Attacks? Like, there's a little antenna right here, and then there's but there's a hole in the image. If you look above the eyes, in between the eyes and above towards the forehead, there is a circle that has a hole in it, and through that hole you see the branches behind the image. Come on, guys. I don't know what this is, but it's ridiculous. Chat, I know you can see this. Please tell me you can see how ridiculous this is. It is ridiculous. I don't think it's anything
It's
special.
some sort of mistake.
It looks like what you said, a kid's hand-drawn outline that just like, oh, look, this is, I think it could be that. Stop. Just stop the synesthesia. It's not working. The mushrooms are wearing off. I don't think it's anything. Now, that's my criticism of that image. But there were some actually interesting videos or images, and I'm going to play that here. Give me 1 second while I pull up there is one that is very, very, can you see it? Hold on 1 second. I'm going to present it. Polly, what's up,
Not
Polly?
yet.
Hey.
Polly!
How are you doing?
Fantastic. Aside
There
from the
she
weird,
is.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we hear you
I
perfectly.
hope you can hear me well. Great. There we go.
Yeah. So, Polly,
Stunning as always.
as always,
Oh my God.
beautiful soul, beautiful face, beautiful mind, beautiful everything.
Love
So let's
you
check
so
this out,
much.
Polly. We
Let's
love you
see.
too. There's an image that I want to show you guys. I don't know if you saw the previous one, the kid's hand drawn outline, but there's another one that I do find actually a little bit more interesting. So let's take a look at this one. This one's a little bit more definitive. Okay, this is again in the backyard. And again, I want to give kudos to Patrick, because Patrick at the Vetted Podcast is the one who uploaded this video along with the analysis. So I'm not going to take that from him. But this is an image that shows a very clear, definitive, in my opinion, outline of a being, of a big black-eyed, large-headed figure. But it doesn't have, I can't see the arms, but I can see the torso right here below the circle. If you look at the bottom part of the circle,
He looks like he came out of a bubblegum machine.
It could be a mannequin. That's what I was going to say. Could be a mannequin. I don't know.
He's half an inch tall, half the size of a plastic army man.
I don't know. So for me personally,
He's like half an inch plastic character.
possibly. For me, I think this is a little bit more compelling, by far at least, than the previous image that was clearly nothing. I'm not saying this is real. This is an alien, or this is a gray. I'm just saying that this, if you're measuring the compellingness of these images, this is one of the more compelling images. And by the way, this is a reanalysis of the video footage and that situation. That was done by some videographer or some people that were they're experts at this stuff. And Steven brought this on the Patrick's Vetted Podcast. But so what do you think? What do you guys think about it? I hear you, Scott. What do you think, Polly? What do you think this is?
Well, that looks beautiful. I think it's pretty clear, but you can never know. I think just those black eyes are just unmistakable. It also like it's like you can't miss it. So love it. Yeah, looks pretty nice. But go figure.
Yeah, the only thing that gets me is there's no arms. Like I don't understand where maybe I just can't see them. Maybe it's pointing. I don't. Who knows? But I will say it is more compelling than the previous image. So we'll go with that.
Those are like Gloria Vanderbilt sunglasses for your supermodels.
Oh my gosh, dude! Really? That's how you want to do this?
The giant B-girl glasses.
Oh my gosh, this guy.
No, and I guess sometimes it happens that, as well as their crafts, their bodies can have like some different energies or whatever it's going on that maybe you can try to take the picture and, it's hard to catch.
It is.
A beautiful
No,
if
you
it's
know
legit.
what? He looks cool. All right, he looks cool, like he's wearing sunglasses.
I don't know about Scott.
He looks too cool.
Dude. Oh no, Scott. There's nobody that wears sunglasses that are half the size of your head, my dude.
Well, but maybe, well, you can maybe call it sunglasses, but as far as I know, those are not really their eyes. This is like, you know, from like under this thing, they have like the real eyes. I
Yeah.
think from this thing, we have like a new technology from that, but I don't think that's their eyes really. I think they
Nictitating
hide behind
membranes.
it.
Maybe a helmet, mutating him membrane. I mean, if we're going with the extraterrestrial hypothesis, it could be membranes. If we're going with the more terrestrial hypothesis, it could be a mask or a helmet or something like that. With those, like you said, Polly, some kind of new technology that kind of makes that they just use a larger the big black eyes themselves, or just a technology of some kind. I personally have no freaking idea, but I do find it more compelling. And I do want to read this comment, or two comments that I think I want to highlight here. The Mac Geek says it could be video compression artifacts or anything, hard to tell. The dark does weird things to the video. So two things I want to say about that. A lot of what has been presented with this, among other, for example, UFO sightings, have been attributed to, usually by Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick and others like Mick West, to compression artifacts. And by the way, they're right. They're not wrong. A lot of this stuff can be compression artifacts. However, because when you're converting a video to and compressing it and so forth, it could create these artifacts. I just don't think personally that it could be that defined. I think that figure, the compression artifact doesn't, for me personally, doesn't fit that image. But that's not all. So another thing that was really interesting is that same night, police caught on body, well, not just police caught on body cam, but also there were home video surveillance cameras that captured this. Let me pull up this little, again, I'm getting this from Vetted, so again, I'm giving all credit to Vetted. Before
Police body cam saw the shooting star hit
shooting
Vegas.
stars don't land on people's backyard, but shooting stars don't hit people's backyard. Also,
Yes, they do.
It was shooting stars.
All sorts of shit. Whatever falls, it hits.
I don't know about a shooting star, but let's watch this.
The house in Florida got hit by a chunk of satellite.
So, well, it could have been a satellite, but when you have this video, which I'm replaying over and over again, you have this video that shows the object that's falling out of the sky. There's a bright light, and then it kind of dims out. And then directly after, you have an alleged alien sighting in someone's backyard.
Yeah.
I believe that it presents two data points that are a little bit more compelling than a meteorite or or debris or something like that.
That's what the police cams caught. The police cams caught that descent that you showed.
Yeah.
And then they got the call and responded.
So, but you don't find that compelling at all? You don't find those two data points compelling?
Oh yeah.
To you, that.
Well, it's
Those
a huge
connect.
coincidence. It's a huge coincidence, and I'm not sure if it's a coincidence, because it's like too much stuff together that just it's a perfect match.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
In that case, I'm so interested to know so many things happened that day, and still people don't get it, don't believe it, and are trying to debunk this stuff, which we try to find the truth. That's our goal here.
Truth.
But that's something we need to really check. There are many videos and pictures about it that we can not dismiss. So this is a going on story. I love
This is the only extraterrestrial encounter followed up by a demonic encounter at the same location that I'm aware of.
That's another aspect. And I think it's really interesting that, and a lot of people have already seen the video. I was going to play the whole thing, but I mean, we've all kind of played it out. I will say, yes, to your point. I've heard it being described as poltergeist. Scott is describing it. The people did say that it was demonic. The family said it was demonic. They did not say it was.
I'm going by the checklist that Ed Warren wrote about in his book, The Demonologist, about how you basically checklist down and determine if an activity is demonic or just a ghost.
So hold on a second. So you're saying that you're going by who?
Ed Warren.
Ed Warren. Okay, Ed Warren. Okay.
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Okay, I got you. So now, okay. So I see. I don't have that information. I have not read Ed. So for those of you who don't know who he's talking about, because at first I was like, huh? That we're talking about the Annabelle, the people that investigated that are based off the movie. The movie Annabelle is based off of are the husband and wife, Ed and Lorraine Warren, and they have a book.
He's an investigator. She's a medium. Yeah, they had the other movie about it too.
Yeah. So I don't have any thoughts on that one because I haven't read their books, so I can't comment on that. I'm only going by what the witness claims, and the general lore behind poltergeist or demonic activity is involved in the poltergeist. Like it's not. I guess you could say it's not necessarily the same thing, but they are synonymous in effect. They both produce terrifying, horrific, and ghostly types of apparitions and encounters and levitation of objects and slamming of doors and visible apparitions and all. I mean, it's synonymous. Poltergeist and demonic activity are essentially synonymous. The thing that I would attribute to demonic activity is like possession. Although they can also present themselves in these apparitions and they can present themselves in the form of like moving objects and closing doors. And
that's true. That's correct. There's actually a checklist that a demonologist goes through to determine if the encounter is demonic or just some ghosts that need to go on home.
Can you share me with that checklist?
It usually rapidly goes sideways.
Yeah, can you hit me up with that checklist? Because
if it's demonic.
Yeah, that would be great. I want that checklist. It would help me. It would give me more.
Teleportation, symbols of Christ going in the toilet, blood materialization, things dematerializing, knocks in threes, like on the side of the building, somebody going boom, boom, boom on the side of your house.
So hold on one second.
They just flick the lights on and off. They'll swing a door open. They'll make the candles flicker. They don't levitate more than 2.2 pounds. But demons will throw your refrigerator out the front window into the yard. More power.
They have that. Wait a minute. Is that something that happened? I don't remember hearing that that's something that happened to the family and the Las Vegas family.
No, they had pages of the Bible. The Bible was levitating off the ground, open to certain passages with other things hovering over it, pockets of cold, stuff like that.
Well, so yeah, I think that for me, this would be a matter of interpretation, because how can you possibly know? I mean, how can we know what anything is unless we know what it is? We're all speculating for the most part. So I guess it would be
humans can't levitate shit.
Yeah, but a human isn't.
Well, I don't know about that. I tend to think here that there was a really alien incident. This is too many things together just to dismiss it. And we as humans are.
Oh, I'm not dismissing it. I'm trying to tie it together.
He's trying to make sense of it, but.
Me too. That's why I'm saying, we are humans trying always to find like an explainable or a rational explanation for everything. And now, if there was an alien incident, it would be easier for people to relate it somehow to a Bible, poltergeist, ghost event, because it's somehow related to religion and something we can explain somehow. But still, I think there are too many.
Well, I don't understand that.
Pieces.
There was an alien encounter because they saw it.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there were like paranormal events after that. Because
Yeah.
even when we see one craft, many things happen during the event or our sightings, you know, and this looks like a huge event. So go figure what happened in that area while this was happening and afterwards. And then people try to find a logical explanation. Even looking for poltergeist will be like sounds logical, more logical than an alien event. So, you know, it's like the rationality of people. But this needs to be checked out for sure.
Yeah. There's something else I want to show you guys, and I thought this was really terrible, terrible, terrifying. Sorry. Um, again, maybe it's just me, but you
Definitely.
guys got to really, you got to look, you got to really pay attention to this. This is a part of that the backyard. I'm not playing audio for obvious reasons. Again, this is not my video. At the bottom right of the screen, you can see that it has vetted its logo here. But if you look, this is hard to see, but this is that truck in the far back allegedly has that being in it. Now, at some point, they're going to pause this video.
It's a
And
tractor cab.
Yeah, and it's behind the tractor cab, guys. I can't. Okay,
Behind the
so
truck.
it's behind it. I don't know if you can see it, and if you're using a
Can
phone,
you go
it's gonna
back again to that?
yes, I can. Yes, I can. If you're using a phone, it's very difficult to see. I'm on a PC. It's not in. It's right behind the tractor, and you can see it. You can see it, guys. Like the head, it's the head of what we would call a gray alien. It's right at the part where okay, hold on one second. So there are two
Where?
tractors. There are two tractors, okay, in the back. Can you see the
Okay.
two of them? At the very top, you
Yeah.
can see the hood of the tractor.
Yes.
At the hood, okay. If you see the intersection of the two tractors, okay,
Okay.
there's kind of a greenish glowing, a greenish like glow or a greenish
Yeah.
light right below the hood of where the two tractors intersect, where they kind of overlap, right there, right in the center. You'll see the head. Now watch. I'm gonna play this over again because it's gonna move.
Okay.
Watch. It's right in the center. So for those of you who are listening on the radio, of course, there is what appears to be a large-headed, black-eyed being in the very background. Now, my brain honestly could be making that connection up. I could be in my head because I know what in my mind what a gray looks like. I may be making that up. I may be seeing what I want to see. I don't know. And I'm not going to claim to say, oh, I know for sure. I don't. I think it looks like a gray, guys. I think it looks like a gray alien. I'm going to rewind it back and pause it again if you, it's just in case you can't see. Can you see? I'm going to send the video to you. And it's at 12 minutes and 9 seconds, Polly. So let me send it. When
Yeah,
you get
please
time,
do.
check
I
it out.
want to check that. Yeah.
I think it looks like it's right at the. Oh, we lost Scott. It's right at the intersection there of the two tractors where they overlap. And it's at 12 minutes and 9 seconds. 12.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
It's so
Okay.
creepy. It's so creepy. And whenever I maximize, like when I maximize the video, you can see it. It's like peeking its head right behind that first tractor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It's really hard, guys, to see in the chat. If you're on radio, we're looking at the backyard of the Las Vegas family that claimed they saw a being in their backyard. And there were two tractors, and in between the two tractors, it looks like something with a large head, large black eyes that is that's kind of peeking its head right in between. You can like right behind the first tractor, but in between the two. Scott, we got you back,
Yeah.
brother. We got you back. So
Oh my goodness.
that was,
I tapped on the photo and I went bye-bye.
yeah, I don't know what happened there, man. It's all good.
You're
We got you.
I'm a novice.
You're beamed back.
Polly beamed me back.
Beamed him back. That's great. That's great. So what I mean, so again, this is just a couple things that kind of make me think it's compelling. I think that they saw something. I think they're genuine. I think they're telling the truth. I think the family seemed genuinely shocked and terrified of the event itself. They faced a lot of humiliation. They faced harassment. There were people in the UFO community who were literally going to their house and harassing them because they didn't want it. I don't know why you would do this. Let me just be honest with you guys. I've heard of, and I'm not saying this is the general
Cheers.
consensus in the UFO field. Cheers. But I have heard from someone I can't mention who I differ from in many different ways, viewpoint wise, who has a very racist perspective of that family. And they went to the house. Yeah, they went to the house to harass them. They were calling them all kinds of names, and they were posting stuff about them on social media, trying to make it seem like, oh, the family did it to make money. Well, the family did it, but you're over their house harassing them, trying to get pictures of their home and give to people on the internet. Like, you're literally doxing them, but they're the ones looking for fame and fortune. They got nothing but harassment from that and ridicule, which is what happens to most experiencers. They get ridiculed and harassed. So why would you do that to somebody who allegedly...
That makes fire just shoot out of my head.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but I did hear, and honestly, on Twitter or X, I heard a lot of that. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of people that were like, oh, I think they want clout. Guys, first of all, look at the evidence yourself.
No, they don't.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Do you know if we have children that saw this? Do we have testimonies from children?
Oh, yeah. There's a really
their children saw it, as far as I know.
So there's an amazing documentary that I want to share with you guys. Not now because we don't have the time at the moment, but because we have 5 minutes before the first break. And honestly, I wish we had more time to talk about. I feel like adding another episode. Chat, hit me up. Let me know what you think. I'm sure radio wouldn't mind, because we could do a little roundtable where we talk about the latest news for the week on top of these interviews. That would be fun. Might not be as long, but hearing our opinion, people like to hear what we have to think, and they share their opinion with us. So the chat's lighting up with opinions about what they think. So, and they're also very comical, which I appreciate both. All that. We love it. But yeah, I think that there's so much more that I didn't even get to go over, because this one topic is such an interesting, there's evidence, there's video evidence, there's a lot of documentation, there's people that have investigated, there's video edit. Now there's some ridiculousness too. I mean, we looked at the ridiculous outline that was clearly drawn by somebody. I don't know who the freak did that, but they clearly drew an outline ridiculous. But there's more compelling images, like the one with what looked like the very visible being or a figure that was in the backyard. Let me see if I can play that here. Let me get past.
There was something there.
Huh? Say that again.
There was something there.
Oh yeah, there was something there for sure. But again, the question is, what was it? Here,
for sure.
Yeah. Let me show that just so you guys can see again. Again, for those of you listening, we are looking at an image of a figure that has when I say clear, obviously it's a silhouette. A silhouette, in case you don't know, Google it, but it's an outlined image, kind of like a shadow of a figure, but the shadow has color. It has like a grayish color to it, not to be cliche here, with very distinguished black eyes. They're placed very strange. I don't know what to liken it to.
No, it's also like the features in like the head and kind of the body, you know. We cannot see the arms, but the head is pretty clear there.
It's pretty clear.
I don't know what
the
to
figure
say.
itself.
Yeah.
Well, it's very similar to a lot of accounts of people talking about their encounters with gray aliens. So
exactly.
Again, I don't know. So if you guys can hang around for a little bit after the first break, Coley's having some issues, and we have our Bigfoot guest coming on, Joe. Hopefully, I gave him the link. Hopefully, he did.
I got your back, brother.
Yeah, in case
I'm here too. No worries.
Yeah, we're improving, fam. We're improving right now. I really think it was such a weird. Guys, I'm not gonna lie. I think someone tampered with my computer. It's never happened before. I've never had that happen before.
Can't rule it out.
I sound like a crackpot, but what the heck happened?
Maybe that's because of the reptilian interview yesterday.
That nabbit, the friggin' reptilians are coming after. Well, this one, so that interview with Jesse was about implants that he says are from the government. Implants in human beings that are from government intelligence agencies.
We can talk about it too, you know.
Don't get me started.
So I have the documents. I don't know what I'm allowed to share. I have to talk to him first because I don't know how much of that stuff I can share with you guys. But at least the conversation itself we can share because we had the conversation. It's not something that's hidden. It's just now I can access it for some strange, weird reason. So anyway,
don't worry.
That is weird.
It's okay. It happens. Everything is fine. You're beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. You're beautiful too. You guys, listen, Polly, we love you. Polly, I'm so sorry. By the way, I wish. Listen, chat. Polly is a very beloved team member by us all. Very beloved. And I.
Oh yes, she is.
And Scott is an OG, everything supporter, friend, all this stuff. So like these are two of literally my favorite people online. And I can't get back to them 90% of the time. You guys know this. I can't. I try. I can't. I also want to give a shout out, and I will not. Hey, listen, I'm not going to give my guy. I'm not going to give him. I'm not going to leave him out of the loop this time. Chris Grant. Everyone in the chat, I want you to send love to Chris Grant because Chris Grant is also. He is my friend. Listen, I love Chris. I wish we can get him on. He thinks his accent is too heavy to have a conversation, but one of these days, we're going to get Chris on here, okay? Chris is also very informed. He's like a ninja of intelligence. And,
he is.
Yeah, he is a ninja.
Who's Chris Grant?
More than. We'll talk. I'll talk to you, Scott. You mess with me right now? Or do you not know, seriously?
Okay.
Okay.
It's not ringing a bell.
Oh, you son of a! All right, guys.
Not ringing a bell. Let me drink some more, and I'll figure it out.
You son of a! We're going on our first break, everybody. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, cheers, everyone.
Intelligence beyond our own. Whistleblowers shouting warnings. Researchers feeling all alone. We're blinded by our arrogance, thinking we're the only ones in control. But they've been among us, preparing for their role. This revelation is shock to our core. Are we ready for what's in store? Something is coming, we can't feel it. Something more, non-human intelligence knocking on our door. Whistleblowers risk it all. Researchers sounding the alarm once more, but we're too focused on ourselves. Blind to the signs of what's to come. Will we wake up in time, or will we be left numb? We've been warned, but will we listen? Something is coming, we can't feel it in the air. Our force so powerful, beyond compare. They've been trying to
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Coley and Marquise show. I am Marquise, your host. Coley is with us too now. We got Let me delete that
Hello.
video.
Yeah,
from
I'm
the-
just fixing my visual here, and I'll be on. So I apologize. I'm just having a few issues.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Take your time.
Coley, yeah, take your time, please.
Hi, Polly.
We're just
Hello, our girl.
Hey Scott. Hey Polly. How are you?
How are you?
Hey,
babe?
Polly.
You guys are awesome.
That was a
so
beautiful
yeah,
show there.
yeah. Oh, Coley is all over the place. Coley is like in hyperdrive right now. So that's fantastic, by the way.
She was on Midwest Night Watchers earlier.
Yeah, and I love. Listen, I love those guys. I love them so much. Listen, there's a lot of great people in this field. There really is. You just got to.
They are great.
They are
people.
such.
I
good
love
humans.
them so much, so much.
Yeah,
they are my healing people. You need to know.
Oh, yeah, they are. Listen, you.
Yeah, she had an interview.
What was it about? Did we?
I don't know. I was at a barbecue. My son cooked up some deer. I got pictures.
Scott, as you usual with his barbecues, man. You need to be me there too.
No, I got some killer pictures. They gave me this big chunk of deer on the bone, and I'm like a boner. I want to tear the meat off the bone with my teeth.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Scott, really, dude? This guy.
I have photographs.
I don't want to see your photograph. Oh, this is going the wrong direction.
No, really.
I believe you. I believe you.
Me neither.
So anyway, aliens.
Yeah.
I won the Pleiadian.
What about the aliens?
So, Elizondo's book. I actually have it pulled up, but I can't show it because obviously, it's got some sensitive information about a lot of different things. It's not out yet. The book isn't. Again, it doesn't launch till later this afternoon. I'm sorry, afternoon. Later this month, towards I think the 20th. I keep saying I think it's the 20th. I'm not actually quite sure. I know that not everyone likes Elizondo, but I think that if you actually read about who he is, where he's from, if you read about the Pentagon initially said, "Oh, we don't know who he is. Who is Elizondo? Where did he come from?" And then they're like, "Oh, Elizondo. Oh,
There she is.
What's up? What's up, Coley?
Yeah.
You ready for a debate? You ready for a healthy debate, huh?"
Oh man, I know who Elizondo is. I've done my research on who Elizondo
He's
is.
an American.
But I'm trying to
Elizondo's
get
an
this
American
so
hero.
sorry.
He's an
CIA
American
counter.
You got a freaking
That's
baby
all.
grand piano?
hero. Wow.
No, this
Wow.
is. I'm trying to use a virtual background because I'm having some issues here, but it's not working out so well.
It's okay. She's shifting dimensions. It's all good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We were talking
Technology.
Connie, about we are having still some
I got a real can of mushrooms.
energies from yesterday.
Oh, I
Uh-oh.
couldn't.
We're
It was
having
breaking up
some
a little bit.
reptilian,
I couldn't hear you.
Reptilian stuff
reptilian.
from yesterday.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Reptilian.
cool.
Midwest Night Watchers in the chat. What's up, Midwest Night Watchers? Yeah. So
Yeah, are they in
Reptilian
chat? Oh,
Yeah, they're in the chat.
awesome. Oh my god, I had such a blast on their show. They really are. They're great.
It was beautiful. They are awesome persons. I'm
They really are.
so blessed to
Yeah.
meet.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah.
They are a blessing, really. Love
And-
you guys.
And they told me that
I totally
Tim
missed it. I
Mothman
was
comes from
cooking
the
meat
West.
over fire.
Cooking meat over fire.
Well, that's good.
Tim's the
That's
dude.
good. I heard. I can't do the deer. I can't do deer meat. Ooh. I know it's a big thing in the Midwest, but I can't do it. Somebody said it's just because I haven't had it.
I've had worse in my mouth.
properly.
Oh my gosh.
I think your audio is or Marquise, can you or I don't know. Is it
My
Scott loud
audio
to
or
you?
Scott's? He is loud. Scott's
might-
loud.
I
It's
don't
just,
know.
no, Scott. I think Scott's using a phone, So
I'm on a
Scott,
cell phone in a shack in the woods.
hold on one second. Let me see if I can.
Oh, I got.
I can't automatically adjust. There we go. Here. All right. How about that, Scott? Speak to us. Oh no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Speak to us, Scott.
Doesn't work.
Hello. Hello.
How's that?
Testing.
How's
Oh
that?
yeah,
One,
that
two, three.
sounds good.
Okay,
That sounds better.
we got you.
Oh, they said hi.
All right.
Oh,
Here I am.
I just had a great conversation with Night Watchers. Hey, if you guys have not subscribed to their channel, go over and look. They are
You
amazing.
have to.
And I get to go on the
are
Geezer show on next Saturday. So I'm super
Oh my
pumped about
God,
that.
really?
Oh, really?
That's gonna be
Yeah.
crazy.
Congratulations.
I love it.
Wait, where are you going?
Yeah,
Where are you going?
I don't know if
Moving
you're
on
gonna.
up.
Where are you going?
Do
I'm
you know
sorry.
where Jim, you know where that clip I sent you is
Oh
so
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Oh
That
my
was
God, I laughed so hard about it.
That was awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So as soon as we're done on Saturday, I'm hopping over onto their channel, so that should be interesting. and
That's
fun.
so cool. All those guys are
I don't know if they're gonna
amazing.
tell
I can
Jim or not,
love,
but I think it'd be better.
you know, I love them so much. And don't forget
Yeah.
to
Oh.
check the Midwest Night Watchers live.
Yeah.
That is so
Yes.
weird.
Yes.
7 beautiful place. Go and watch.
So I want
Oh,
to actually
they're
want to share
amazing.
while
They
we're
really
You don't have a baby grand
what
piano.
was your don't have a baby grand piano, really?
No.
Really? Hold on one
Just
second.
a regular one. Yeah, no. That's funny.
Please
Scott.
stand by.
Yeah, no, I had some. Please stand by. I don't know why I keep disappearing though. That's a little alarming.
Sorry, guys. So Coley, what was your conversation about with the Midwest Night Watchers?
Oh, we just talked about
Yeah, what happened?
like the UFO stuff. We talked about paranormal stuff. We just this is like having a conversation. They were great. They really were.
So I want to
Um,
ask you something then, because speaking
Mhm.
of, did you orbs? Remember how we were talking to Grant Cameron and we never got to the orb situation there? So I'm going to talk
yeah,
to you
no, they
guys.
said that they have a ton.
Orbs. I've met a lot of
Yeah,
people who
they
show me
have.
pictures of orb. They've shown me pictures of orb. They can catch them on camera, which is pretty cool.
Mhm. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I have a picture that has about probably like 30 of them on it. It's crazy.
So I wanted to
What do you
talk
think they
about.
are?
Well, before we get into that speculation, let me share with you a bit of some summary of what I talked about finding out from Elizondo's book. Excuse me. So there are two types of orbs, the main ones that I wanted to talk about. Two main types. There are, according to the research that was done by Elizondo and his team and his efforts of investigating the phenomena, there are yellow orbs and there are blue orbs. I've heard of red ones as well, but those are usually much bigger. They're more like craft size. Whereas the yellow, and let me go over the different characteristics of each one. So the yellow orbs, according to Elizondo, are described as having the ability to chase individuals. They get interesting. The detail, the one account details that after a short pursuit, the yellow orb would turn blue and emit a laser-like blast. This blast could burn the victims or leave them unconscious. Something that kind of like what was happening in Brazil. Some of the effects on the human body are the yellow orbs were particularly feared because they were known to cause physical harm, such as burns or unconsciousness. Those radiation-like symptoms I mentioned earlier that were experienced in that town in Brazil. They were associated with attacks on individuals, often causing panic and terror among those who encounter them. And then these blue orbs, they kind of transform. In this case, the blue orbs would turn were from yellow orbs. That's what they would change from. The blue orbs seem to be more aggressive and dangerous after this transformation, as they are the ones that emit harmful laser-like blasts. So the blue orbs are not just passive observers, but actively interact with their environment. They're intelligently controlled, especially in a harmful way towards humans. This suggests a deliberate intent behind their actions. And this is something that is speculated, of course. We don't know if they're bad intentions, but we know that the effects of them and that their seeming behavior is that of aggressiveness. So the sizes also vary, especially of the orbs. Some described as small as a baseball. Others are way larger. Like I said, some of them are the size of like you can say like those beach balls. They appear as orbs, often bright and luminous, appearing in a variety of colors, but yellow and blue being the ones specifically mentioned in some of those encounters that Elizondo talks about. There's a lot to say. There's a lot that's to that, but let's start with this: the Brazilian Colares incident. So this is the one that I mentioned before. I talked a little bit about this earlier. So the orbs played a significant role in the Colares incident in Brazil, where they were responsible for numerous attacks on villagers. This incident was heavily investigated by the Brazilian Air Force, and it left many people traumatized and injured. The orbs were believed to be extracting blood or energy from the victims, leading to a phenomena the locals called chupa. I can't say it. Chupa, which means. Well, no, I almost said that. That was my fault. Chupa. I almost said that. That was my fault. It's actually chupa, which means in Portuguese, suck. Scott,
Chupari sucking in Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Why do
Like,
they
I'm
think
the
they're losing
Colombian
blood?
here, remember? So yeah, Chupari sucking.
vampire.
Oh,
Why
it's so
do they
nice
think
to
they're
see you,
losing
Polly.
blood?
So this is according to the data, the analysis, and the investigation by the Air Force. They were the ones who said that the villagers were reporting that they were having blood extracted from their bodies. They were passing out. They were being knocked unconscious by them. These things would pass through their bodies, which would sometimes leave them unconscious or leave them with radiation burns. They would assault them, usually all night long. They had these weird anomalies that were happening in conjunction with the orb's presence, and it was happening to an entire town. Again, it was so terrible that the Brazilian Air Force had to get involved with it, and they couldn't do anything about it. Ultimately, they couldn't. There's nothing they could do. This was apparently investigated not just by the
There's
Brazilian
just a
Air Force.
plane crash there today.
I know, where 60-some people died. All of them perished in that plane crash.
Yeah, terrible. God bless them.
Well, that's
Drink
exactly
to them.
the reason why I told you the next CMT's mission will go to the Amazon. I will take you guys to our jungle in Colombia. You know, we have in South America
going to your trip.
so much mythology and stuff. We will go and I'll take you. I don't care. We will go
I'll go.
to the Amazon.
Count me in.
And
I'll
we're
go
doing-
anywhere.
Let's go.
Do
A
it.
CMT's expedition to Amazon in Colombia. I will take you guys. I have
Take my
my home
45.
there, and we will find the chupacabra ourselves. You know, what,
I don't know.
maybe
I-
those
what am I gonna- you're gonna feed it. Listen,
margaritas, no.
I'm having traumatic memories where Jessica Jones threatened to roll me up into a sleeping bag like a burrito and feed me to Bigfoot. So
I remember.
What? Oh no.
I remember hearing that. Oh my god, that's hilarious. You gotta love Jessica Jones.
I'm
That's
gonna
hilarious.
pass on that one. All right. So
What do you think
real
about
quick,
the blue orb?
hold on. What's that? What's that?
Somebody we referred to many times before, Phil Schneider, the man that killed 2 Greys, described a blue beam flash gun that fired cobalt radiation,
Interesting.
which is blue.
This is so, Scott, your mind, my friend. This is how we became friends, because this guy, he's like a, I don't want to say it. He's like a drunken genius, if you will, and he's very well versed. Your recollection is phenomenal. I'm impressed. I do remember that, but
Scott
only
is an
because you just mentioned it.
Encyclopedia. Yeah.
Yeah. This is why Chris Grant is literally just like that. He's this guy, like, he knows all podcasts and interviews and books, and I'm like, how the heck do you guys? I'm trying here, okay? I'm trying, but you guys are so genius.
Look,
about this.
y'all. When I was little, my dad had a coffee shop in Santa Monica Mall, and he was the coffee guy. and he had that mall wired. And as his son, I had the privilege to just go on down to the bookstore and sit down in the fantasy section and the sci-fi section and read every damn book there.
So that's why you
So
have
I
such
did.
a extensive. And by the way, your knowledge on sci-fi is admirable. I respect it. I respect it. So
Santa
'cause I'm a
Monica
big
by
sci-fi.
the pier.
I'm only
Ooh, that's
human. I mean, I'm only right 51% of the time. That makes me like an Alabama genius.
So we do have our guest. He's waiting. He's in the waiting room right now. So we're gonna bring our guest on. Scott, Polly, if you guys have time a little bit later, maybe if the conversation doesn't go over, I'd love to bring you
I'll
guys
be
back
here
on.
till the end. Let us know. Good luck, guys. And
Can I go back to the
out.
chat now?
Love you so much.
Yes, sir. Go back to the chat,
Aw,
Scott.
love
Love you,
you
Polly.
too,
Back to the
Polly
chat.
and Scott.
Body in the
All right, guys.
Love you.
chat. Love
All
you.
right, guys.
Cheers.
All right, guys.
Aw,
Peace. They're so awesome. All right, we're gonna
they're
bring on our guest
amazing.
Jim now. Yeah, I'm sorry. So Coley, real quick, just to kind of Coley, that interview with Jesse is inaccessible. I don't know if you
What?
heard. Yes, when I tried to play that video 3 minutes before the show, about 5 minutes before I played it, worked fine. Accessed it, no problem. Pulled it up, everything was great. When I went to StreamYard to play the video, I could no longer access it. Now I can no longer access the video at all. At all.
Even if you go back onto the other platform, or no?
I went on. Listen, I'm telling you, I pulled every single file on my computer is accessible. That file with Jesse is visible, but it's inaccessible. It will not allow me to pull that document up at all. I've never had that happen before, ever. It is honestly, it's kind of strange, because I don't know where it went. I don't understand where it went. I've been trying to this whole time we were talking. I tried all. It just I have the audio of it, and only the audio of it, and not the video. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload it as a podcast. We're going to post it on our socials, but that's essentially all I can do. I can't upload it any other way, and I'm
Can
so
it go
sorry, guys.
since this is an audio? Can it go on to Rock Radio or?
So audio version can. The audio version can go on Helix Rock Radio. I don't know how. We'd have to talk to Brandon about how to do that, or when we could do that. But you just let me know, and then if you can talk to Brandon and ask him when we could upload that video or the audio. I'm sorry, just the audio. That would be great. So the audio version
an amazing interview. Yeah.
it was awesome. I have the audio. I do not have the video. It's no longer accessible, which is weird, because that means that I'll speculate later. I'll tell you what I think later. I'm a little concerned. So we're gonna bring our guest just disappeared. Can you tell him to come back on, please?
What, Joe? We lost Joe.
Yeah, we lost. Hold on.
Do you want me to
see if
text him? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, see what's going on. It's ironic because we just. Hey, Midwest Night Watcher, if you think you can bring it up, by all means, hit me up, DM me, because I can't access it. It's again, I have the audio version of it, but the video, again, weirdest thing ever. It's not accessible. Can't get it. Basically, what that means is somehow the video has been deleted, which I don't know how that's even possible. The video is it's showing that it's there when I'm looking right at it, but I cannot get the video to play. So right now, Coley is getting our guest to come on. Our guest is going to be talking about Bigfoot. This is a topic that I'm least informed about, the Bigfoot topic. One that I am very interested in, because I don't know what it is, and there are a lot of people that have some very, very historical knowledge of the Bigfoot, of many Bigfoot encounters. I have met people who've had some Bigfoot encounters. I mean, they don't know what they are. They say that it was a creature that sounded like a large man, but it wasn't a man because it sounded also like an animal. They saw the figure, they heard the footsteps and the banging on the walls. Again, all reminiscent of other Bigfoot encounters that I've heard of before. Who knows? It could have been, I guess it could have been anything. But I am inclined to believe that it was a Bigfoot encounter. This is the people that I talk to. There's also people that talk about the incidents where sometimes people don't. They have encounters where there's a kid that we work with on Space Out Radio. Um, can't remember his name right now, but he was out in the woods and he had a Bigfoot encounter. He is always out in the woods. He spends a lot of time out in the woods. He lives out in the woods, and he encountered a Bigfoot, or he had a Bigfoot incident. This is after him discovering like a lot of weird things. Like I think he found some remnants of people's belongings and things like that. He heard of some disappearances that happened along his area, along with some screaming and yelling, with the all known Bigfoot screams and all that stuff, the menacing, terrorizing Bigfoot screams. So yeah, Joe's with us. I think we have Joe with us. I'm gonna bring Joe in here in just a second. Coley is also. Coley, you with us? Can you hear me? Coley, can you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you now.
Perfect.
Can you
I'm
hear
gonna
me?
bring.
Yeah,
I
I
can hear
just
you.
sent
I'm
him
gonna.
a text.
He's in. So Joe is in. I'm gonna bring Joe in to the chat. Give me 1 second here while I pull Joe up. So
Oh,
1 second here. Joe, how you
Hey, how you
doing?
doing, guys?
hey
Fantastic.
Joe, how are you?
Doing great,
Joe
great.
from Beyond the Woodline podcast. I was on his podcast.
Yes.
He's great.
Yeah. A new podcast, right?
No, it's like almost 4 years old.
4 years. Okay. So I'm wrong. The group, the group that you started is that new, or is that something that's
The
been around
Woodline
before?
Paranormal is brand new. We're only a few months old. Yeah.
Okay. So the Woodline Paranormal Group. Can you tell us about the Woodline Paranormal Group?
Well, it just stems from my interest in the paranormal, and all this crazy stuff that we're involved in. Um, I've been involved. I'm interested since I was a little kid. So I've been doing the Bigfoot stuff, and then after the Bigfoot stuff, I had a lot of paranormal experiences, and doing the podcast kind of just made me want to investigate the paranormal, and so that's what we're doing now. And I created Woodline Paranormal. There's like, I don't know, 10 or 12 of us on the team. So yeah, it's we did one official investigation about a month ago in Jacksonville, Texas. That was pretty cool. It was the Bolton House. Uh, and we've done a couple like places around town here in Houston, like Old Town Spring, which is a pretty popular location. And we did this cemetery in a place called Demon Road, which is in Huntsville, Texas, a little bit north of Houston. So yeah, we've done some pretty cool stuff so far.
That's awesome. So, and for those of you who don't know, Joe, please, by all means, introduce yourself. Tell everyone who you are, what you do. We know a little bit about what you do because you talked about the group, which essentially kind of we can go over the chronology of your development and your time with Bigfoot, and then of course the paranormal.
Sure. Yeah. So so I'm Joe DeHoyos. I've been interested in the subject, like I was saying, since I was like a small kid. Uh, my interest really peaked right around 7 or 8 years old. I had a neighbor that lived across the street. He actually worked with my dad, and he had all these stories, UFOs, paranormal, uh, Bigfoot, and different cryptids, that I had no idea existed. And you're talking about the late 70s, early 80s, and he always had stories. Um, and he would scare us, but he would also scare himself, you know, because these stories he 100% believed them, So I don't think he was just making them up. Excuse me, but hold on real quick, I got a cough.
No problem.
Oh shit! I'm sorry about that. I tried to mute myself.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
But yeah, so
we're all right.
he would,
Yeah.
yeah. So he had all these stories, man, and me and my brother would run back across the street, um, at when it was dark and scared, But as I got older and I got old enough to cut grass, I would buy these books, that had all the cryptids and paranormal and UFOs and even like spontaneous human combustion. It was in it. I remember that. And um,
Oh, I remember that topic. Yeah.
yeah, I remember. Yeah, and
That's
that's what I would do
interesting.
with my, my money that I would earn was buy these books. And then as I got older, even middle school and high school, I was still reading about all this stuff. And uh, you know, after high school, go to college for a couple of years, get married, have some kids, all that kind of gets on the back burner. Then right around the time the Finding Bigfoot stuff comes out, uh, got me interested in it again. And my kids were old enough for me to take out, and or at least I thought they were. They were still little kids, but I was going out there doing my Bigfoot stuff, and I guess
Whoa.
when I look back on it, I was using them for bait, and
Oh man! Wait,
yeah,
what? Wait a minute! Wait a minute! You
Wrap
can't get past that,
Marquise
man.
in a
Hold
burrito,
on,
burrito and
hold
take
on a
him
second.
on. Yeah,
Did you just say you
that's
use your kids as
hilarious.
bait?
yeah. I mean, I got
Oh,
in hindsight, I guess that's what I was doing, because
okay,
I
that's
mean, we were
that's-
out in the middle of these woods, out in the middle of nowhere, and I was letting them run around. I mean, I was keeping an eye on them, making sure I could see
yeah,
them, right? But I went out there looking around, and I had no idea what I was doing at that time, and uh, yeah, then I've been doing the Bigfoot thing for 12 years now, and uh, but I also we lived in a house the last 5 years that I was married, and um, that house was very very active. I mean, we had a lot of activity in that house. It was crazy the activity that we had in that house, and I always believed in the paranormal, of course, but all that stuff just validated and solidified all my beliefs.
yeah.
And then and we can get into all that too, but also in it has to be a good, I don't know, 20 years plus now. Me and my ex-father-in-law were fishing, and we saw a UFO fly right above our heads. I mean, and it was a craft. It was a round disc, and it was maybe a couple hundred feet above our heads. And like I tell everybody, I think a professional baseball player probably could have hit it with a baseball. Um,
Wow.
I mean, we got a real good look at it. We probably looked at it for about a good 5 minutes before it got out of sight because it was right above us. We were on the seawall in Galveston, Texas, and he said, "Hey, Joe, look what's that?" And I look up, and he points, and there's this round craft coming above us, and it's just slow and steady, no noise, no lights, no kind of wobble. It's just flat, flying along real smooth. And there are some airplanes. There's an airstrip down for like single engine planes in Galveston, and this may be 2 or 3 miles down the road, and we can still hear those things coming in. And this thing was right above us, like I said, and not a sound. And it was going so slow. I don't know how anything that slow could have maintained airspeed, to stay in the air. Yeah. But yeah,
So
you guys
you,
have any
Yeah,
questions
they
you want to ask?
do when they're coming slow and low. Yeah. Did you get any
Yeah.
so
pictures?
how many encounters have you had? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Cody.
With what?
Well, you mentioned seeing a craft. How many times have you
Yeah.
seen a craft?
So that was the only time I saw that craft. That was in, like I said, at least 20 years ago, right in that time frame. And that was the only time that we saw that craft, or I saw that craft. Or then the second time was maybe 2 years ago. I was out doing the Bigfoot thing, and I went back to my buddy's house because he lives out near the San Luis Forest where we go do our Bigfoot stuff. And um, we came back to his house. I had parked my truck at his house, and I was getting ready to leave. And we're outside, and we look up in the sky, and we see these two lights coming at each other. These two round lights like this. And before they got next to each other, they just started doing these little circles. They made maybe 2 or 3 circles, and then they just took off. And that was like the weirdest thing we had ever seen, or I had seen up. Uh, they weren't airplanes. They certainly weren't satellites. They were well within, I would say, our atmosphere. They weren't like they didn't look like stars. They looked like they were well within,
Hmm.
our atmosphere. It's hard to judge how many thousands of feet they were, but it was just weird. It wasn't. I don't think helicopters could have made that maneuver either, because it was, like I said, they went right at each other, and it was a perfect circle. I mean, they made these 2 circles, 2 or 3 circles, and then they just took off in opposite directions again. It was just so perfect.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the second time that I had ever seen anything like that. And if someone's got a better explanation, I'm
No.
willing to hear it.
Well, I don't think anybody has a better explanation. My question for you is what do you think you saw? I mean, it's
I think I saw definitely two craft. If they were from this world, I'm not sure, but I've seen I've had videos sent to me from other people around the country and even outside the states, um, Canada in particular, and they have uh, similar stuff on their video. So um, I just don't know what they were. There were definitely some craft. If they were from us, can't say 100%. Were they not from us? Can't say 100% from that either. The craft that I saw in Galveston, dude, that was crazy. I mean, we got a really, really good look at that craft, you know. And
Yeah, you're not. Many people have talked about having those close-ups of a slow-moving vehicle in their neighborhood, sometimes hovering right
yeah,
above their house,
yeah.
which is really weird. Like,
One of the
no,
weird things is that all of my kids have all at one time or another seen craft also. Uh, my oldest daughter and my youngest son, they saw that trapezoid shaped one that is often reported. Um, my middle kid, he saw a light kind of rocking like this, almost like side to
like a
side, like
seesaw or swinging stuff
yeah,
like that.
well, almost like a pendulum, right? He said it
Pendulum,
took
pendulum,
off.
sorry.
Yeah, it was doing that. And he said all of a sudden it shot off. He said when it shot off, it reminded him of how like on Star Trek the way the ships shoot off.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was
That's
pretty
Wow,
cool.
that's weird.
fascinating.
Did you have any kind of any kind of paranormal experiences after your sighting?
Um, yeah, but I don't think they were related to that sighting. At least I'm like 100% sure they had nothing to do with the sighting because when we moved into that house, that was maybe 7 years after that sighting, 5 or 7 years, and yeah, so I just don't think that would had anything to do with it. And so what I
Hmm.
did actually was I I drew a picture of what it looked like. I don't know if you can see it, but
Did it have
Wow.
those pieces? That's interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
So it was a
we only
bed.
saw the bottom. Yeah, we only saw the bottom. That's what's looking up from the bottom. That's what we saw. And
Oh, wow. So it was actually segmented like that?
yeah, I don't know what they were. I don't know if you couldn't really tell because it was at nighttime, probably 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
But there wasn't a cloud in the sky that night. I think there was a pretty good moon out there. I don't think it was like a full moon, but it was pretty bright the sky. I remember that much, and so you could kind of see those darker areas of that disc. But yeah, when I started having the paranormal stuff, like I said, that was probably 5 or 7 years after that had happened,
Hmm.
and that was in a house where the former owners had passed away. They didn't pass away in the house. They were like in their late 90s. They were like 96, 98 when they passed away. And we moved into the house because across the street, my ex in-laws lived there, and they were kind of having some uh, medical, conditions. And so we moved in to help them out. And I mean, from the first couple of days we were in there, I thought somebody was sitting on the bed. I thought it was my dog. I had a big boxer at the time, and I thought he was getting on the bed. And when I felt the bed go down, so I kind of sat up, and I was going to be like, get off, get off the bed, because he wasn't supposed to
Yeah,
be on the bed.
yeah, yeah.
And there was nobody there. And I don't know, maybe a week or so later, it happened again, and I sat up. I was going to be like, get off the bed. But nobody was there. So I went to the kitchen. I'm like, hey, this house is haunted. And my whole family goes, oh, yeah, it is. It is. Everyone just,
No
my
way.
three kids, my ex were like, yeah, it is. And they all started telling me their stories that happened to them. And they were hearing footsteps. They were seeing shadows. And uh, my oldest said one of the things that happened to her was she had this long closet. It wasn't a walk-in, but it was kind of long ways, like almost the length of the entire wall.
Mm.
And it had those accordion style doors, that you kind of open. So there wasn't a light in the closet because you didn't need one because it was only a couple of feet deep, just wide enough to hang clothes. And she said I was on the phone one night and she saw this flash come out of the closet like someone had took a picture. And so that was one of the weird things that happened to her. And then as time went on, like I said, I was there 5 years, and
Mm.
as time went on, one day I was sitting on the edge of the bed and I was getting up to go to work in the morning, and it was I don't know probably 6:30 in the morning, and I felt somebody poke me in the ribs. You know, you poke somebody in the ribs, or somebody has poked you in the ribs. You know, joking around with you, messing around with you. That's exactly what I felt, like that exact sensation. And I turned around and I looked at my ex. She was knocked out. She was asleep. But she was on the other side of the bed.
Yeah.
And then one day I was in the kitchen, and out of the corner of my eye, I looked up because I saw some movement, and I looked up and I seen this. I don't know if you want to call it an apparition or a figure or what, but it was a gray color. It looked like a shadow, like a gray shadow, just walk across the kitchen, you know. And but it wasn't like a shadow, like against the wall. It was just like this. Like I said, it was in the middle of the kitchen and just kind of moved along. And I mean, you could definitely tell it had two legs and arms and a head. And my son called me one day. He was getting ready to go to the Marines, so he was waiting for his leave date. And he was sitting on the couch watching TV, and he saw something move from the right side of his, from the corner of his right side. And he looked, and he saw this gray figure, is what he called it. He described it the same way, with a gray, smoky figure. Hey, Drew, how you doing, buddy? Thanks a lot, man. And he said it squatted down, and it stuck its hand out, its finger like this, and it touched him on the arm.
Hmm.
And he said when it touched him on his arm, just all his hair on his arm stood up. Then one day, my oldest, she was in her room, and she came out, and she said she came out because she saw this dark shadow go from one corner to the other. But she said it was just a dark mass. But she said, I saw it move to the other side. And, as much as that kind of stuff kind of freaked us out from time to time, we never got the feeling that whatever it was mean or evil or had ill
Violent.
intent or
Yeah.
or was really truly a dark entity. It was sometimes we saw dark shadows, but we didn't ever feel that it was evil. One of the coolest things that happened, my cousin came over to do some work on the house. He was remodeling the main hallway and then the master bath. So he was there we were all in the kitchen. There's like maybe him and two or three of my other cousins, so kind of game planning. Hey, tomorrow we're gonna start working. This is how everything's gonna go. And he keeps looking down at his arm, and as he's looking down at his arm, he's like rubbing it at the same time. And at this point, me and my family, we're looking at each other, making eye contact with each other. We're kind of smiling or smirking because we know something's going on with Manuel, and we all knew it. So he looks at my other cousin and goes, "Dude, what are you doing to me?" And my cousin goes, "I'm standing way over here. I'm not near you." So Manuel walks across the kitchen. He grabs me by the arm and he squeezes it. He goes, "Dude, this is what it feels like." And he squeezes my arm really tight. So then he gets back to the other side of the kitchen, but he stands more in the corner where he can keep an eye on everyone. And he's like, "Dude, it's still going on. Someone is grabbing me by the arm."
Hmm.
So at this point, we started telling him everything that had happened, everything that was going on. And he says, so the next day he comes in to start working, and I'm getting ready to go to work. He goes, "Hey, come here, I want to show you something." And he holds his arm up like this, and he's got these 4 finger-length bruises on his arm.
Oh. Hmm.
Yeah. And we think it was the Colemans
Oh.
who, like I said, were the original owners of the house. Probably didn't like him messing with it. But yeah, after that, Manuel goes, after that he wouldn't go into the house if he showed up first, and there was nobody else with him. He wasn't going in the house.
And then you guys moved out because.
Well, I moved out, but my ex still lived there. Yeah.
Oh no, jeez.
Yeah.
Damn, not afraid, huh?
Yeah.
So
No.
that's creepy, man. That's a lot of creepy stuff that happened there.
Yeah. And then one day, during the separation, I had a bunch of meat. I used to be a big time hunter, so my daughter called me one day and was like, "Hey, I got some meat." Because I told her, I said, "Cook it all," because I can't take the deep freezer with me. So just cook it all. So she's like, "Okay." So she called me one morning, goes, "Hey, Dad, I made some duck tacos. You want to come get some?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So I stopped by the house.
Yeah.
I stopped by the house, and it was her and my kids, and she was dating this guy at the time, and they were telling him about the house, and he's kind of like, he's just like shaking his head. He doesn't believe it, right? And I started telling him, I said, "Dude, these kitchen faucets will come on, the shower will come on, all by themselves." And as soon as I said that, the kitchen faucet came on.
No.
It was so funny. I mean, just like perfect timing, right on cue. He walks over there, he turns it off, and he was in construction, so he knows a little bit about plumbing and stuff, and I think he's actually like electrician now, but so he's a real handy guy. He's looking under the sink. He opened the cabinets. He's looking under the sink. He's turning the faucets, turning them on and off to see what happened. Yeah, he couldn't figure it out for nothing. But that was pretty funny. He was a very a non-believer. I don't know where he sat on the fence after that, but I know at that point he was very confused about what had just happened. But that was pretty cool.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
So what do you think that? I mean, you think it's ghosts? You believe in ghosts?
Oh yeah, and that's what I think it was. I think it was the Comans. It was their house, and that house had actually stayed empty for 5 years. After they passed away, their kids kind of took over it, and they didn't do anything with the house. I mean, they kept up with it and stuff. The house was immaculate, and they were like the typical old people who took care of everything. Um, yeah, and like all their furniture was still in there in the house, and we were like, we're not even going to move our furniture over here. We'll leave it here in the other house, and they got everything, like I said, was in excellent shape. There were two older people, and they took care of everything. I mean, everything was immaculate. So we're like, yeah, we'll just take it as it is. The kids were like, yeah, just keep the furniture if y'all want the furniture. So that house was truly their house, and that's one. We had people come and say, "Do you want us to, cross them over?" I'm like, that's up to them. If they want to go over, they can go over. And we told them, hey, look, you guys are welcome to stay. This is your house. Just don't scare us like that, Because there was one night, it was maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I sleep on the right side of the bed, and there was a window right there. So, but evening at night, there's a street light out. Actually, the street light's right in front of our house, so you can kind of see a little bit, the window outline. And it was like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up, and there was a lady standing right there. All I saw was just a black silhouette, and she moved towards me. When she moved towards me, man, I threw a kick. I said, get back, get back, mother! Boy, I let it fly too, man. And and she disappeared. But I don't think she was trying to scare me or like I'm gonna get you or whatever. She moved towards me. I don't know why, but yeah, And then afterwards, I felt really silly about it. I felt really silly about it. But one of the things too is funny about that was that, so I'm laying down and I throw my kick, and of course my foot lands on, like hanging off the bed. Well, my dog was there. When my foot came down, I hit my dog. He knew better than to come in the room. He wasn't allowed in the room, so he was in that room for a reason.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, not now. You kicked him.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
I ain't laying at this dude. He kicked me.
So I think he kind of sensed that she was there, and he came into the room. But yeah,
That's
I
wild.
think I'm the first person to do karate on a ghost.
Yeah, Power Ranger over here, man.
Yeah.
So, before we get into some of the more about your investigations and your research, I'm really curious about, and maybe I'm doing this backwards. Maybe you want to wait to talk about this, but what do you think generally? What is your perspective? Because I see you have UFOs, you have paranormal, and you have Bigfoot. You separate these three things, correct?
Yeah.
What do you think's happening with UFO phenomena?
I think they've always been here. I don't know exactly if they're in our reality or dimension. I think a lot of them are. I think a lot of them are part of this universe. I think some of them may be part of another. It's hard to say interdimensional because it's so. There's so much unknown about it, and I'm not discounting that it happens, because I'm sure it does happen to some degree. But I think most of the ET encounters are beings from our universe, from our reality.
You mean extraterrestrial in the real,
Yeah,
literal
yeah,
sense from
exactly.
another?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I do think that there are definitely beings from other, like I said, dimensions, other universes, whatever you want to call that. Other planes of existence. It's hard for me to really put a label on that. And maybe there's different things. You know what I'm saying? Different universes, different dimensions, different planes. And maybe that's all of it too. But I think a lot of it are from our universe.
And if you were to compare it to a movie, right, or a science fiction novel or something like that, what would you compare your perspective on the UFO phenomena, ETs, just that phenomena itself?
I don't know. Close encounters, maybe.
Close encounters. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
Close encounters. I wouldn't say it's Independence Day because I think if these beings wanted to, they could wipe us out with no problem.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
for sure.
you know, and E.T. is a nice movie too, right? It's a nice fun movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, um, but yeah, I would maybe say Close Encounters would be it. And
All
I
right, I
think
dig it.
yeah, and I think there have been bodies recovered from the different crashes around the world. Who knows why they crash? It seems kind of weird that they would crash. They're so much more advanced, but uh,
Doesn't
yeah,
sound right. Yeah.
yeah, maybe they weren't like crashes. Maybe they were sent here, for us to, discover. You know what I'm saying? Or it was done on purpose.
I think this, to be honest, I think the same thing. But when it comes to that part, anyway,
Right.
I compare them to, I think more like a three body problem, the dark forest kind of thing,
Right.
or the fourth kind, the movie The Fourth Kind.
Oh yeah.
A combination of those two things. Like, I think there is a whole three body problem thing going on with the
Mm.
dark forest, of course, proceeding, and then I think there's also this fourth kind
Hello?
of thing happening with
Hello?
on our planet too. We hear you, Coley. So, but hey, I mean, hey, like, do you think that the UFO phenomena and the paranormal phenomena are connected? Think Skinwalker Ranch.
I don't know if they're connected, but I think there's a lot of crossover. You know,
Hmm.
I, for whatever reason, I think there are where people want to call them ley lines, right? I think these things just intersect or are attracted to them. And Skinwalker Ranch. That's just one little piece when you think about it, because there are places all over the world that are like Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And
For sure.
so yeah, I think for whatever reason, the ley lines seem to make sense. Maybe there's something going on there that we can't measure. Whether it's portals or some kind of gravitational field or some kind of frequency that we just can't measure, we can't see. You know, um, and it just whatever reason it's attracting or pulling these entities to this location. And I wish I had a better answer, which was more of a scientific mind. But like I said, you hear of these places that are all over the world that seem to have all these entities there. Whether it be paranormal, aliens, UFOs, and even cryptids for that matter. And even strange-looking creatures that people have never even seen before.
Yeah, yeah. It's frustrating actually, because
Yeah, and
yeah, you want to make sense of it, but then it's like, surprise, there's also ones that look like elves. Huh? What do you
yeah,
mean elves?
yeah,
What?
yeah. So there's a place here in Texas, and when I went up there to when I did that investigation, I've been talking to a guy, and he originally contacted me about a Bigfoot that he had been seeing. Uh, um, so I got to talking to him. I was talking to his girlfriend, and his girlfriend actually called me and was like, "Hey, there's more we want to tell you, but he doesn't want you to know this because he doesn't want you to think he's crazy." I'm like, I'm already talking about Bigfoot and ghosts and UFOs.
What's crazy with that?
Yeah. So she started telling me that they were seeing portals on this
Mm.
property. They were seeing orbs. They were seeing little people, is what she called them, um, and that they saw like a different creature that they had never seen before. And the creature she described was standing upright on 2 feet. Now she saw it in the dark. They were backing up. They were trying to get off the property. They were backing up. It was standing a little bit behind the truck, but they saw it standing up on 2 feet. And she said it had a deer's head and it had these antlers. These were these weird antlers.
Oh wow.
And I had never heard of that down here. And what I'm thinking is that she saw a Wendigo,
Wendigo,
right? Yeah.
which looks
And
like a Baphomet, by the way.
yeah, and that's more of a up northern thing and really into Canada. There's very few sightings of that down here in the States, and especially this far down here in the South. You know, so they got some weird stuff going on that property, and you know, so when I asked him when I went up there to talk to him about this stuff, and I was telling him this stuff, he goes, dude, he goes, I never wanted to tell you this kind of stuff. So I didn't want you to think I was crazy, because but we see some crazy stuff, and they see UFOs, lights in the sky all the time above his property.
So it's essentially like a Skinwalker Ranch, but in
Yeah,
someone's backyard.
yeah, basically like a miniature Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah.
Do they have any idea why?
No, but he's told me that this is stuff that has gone on since he's a little bit older than me. I'm 52. He's probably 58, 59 years old. I don't think he's quite 60. But he said this kind of stuff has been going on since he was a kid, you know. And since he was, you know, he says I remember working with my dad on the land. We were putting up fences, and we would see weird stuff, and my dad would just write it off as something else. He goes, so you know, when your dad says, "Oh, don't worry about it," that's you know, this it was this or it's nothing, you know. You don't pay attention to it, you know. And he goes, now that I'm older and I've seen, you know, these creatures myself firsthand, he goes, I wonder how much my dad really knew about all this. You know, it was just trying not to scare him, you know.
That is what that's wild. I haven't honestly. I've heard of a couple once. They told me that their house. I don't know if it was attached to them because they kind of dabble in the occult. By the way, occult just means non-traditional in a sense. It doesn't actually mean like
Yeah,
demonic or evil.
right.
It's just non-traditional. It's practices that you don't see in like the normal religious and spiritual practices. But anyway, they dabble in the occult. Of course, some of that has to do with Ouija boards. However,
Mm-hmm.
you know, conjurings and all that stuff like that. And he, the boyfriend, started to experience paranormal activity that was kind of aggressive, but not too terrifying, just scary a little bit here and there, and nothing that really got him to the point where he wanted to run away. Then his girlfriend started experiencing things that were very aggressive, almost as if he, you know, just by extension, or there was an attachment to that energy they brought into their home. And so the reason why I ask is because a lot of times either someone else, I'm sure you're aware of this, the possibility of there being objects. Listen, guys, listen. You all know me. I'm a very, you know, data driven kind of human being, but I also speculate and I look at some of these other potentials. And one of those that frustrated me for a long time was the idea that energy and negative energy, spiritual energy, whatever, can attach itself to objects and even dirt.
Yeah,
So maybe they went somewhere and brought some of that stuff back to their home, or maybe there's some burial ground underneath, or maybe
yeah,
I mean, it has to be something. It can't be
right.
nothing, right?
Yeah, yeah. I believe in all that too. You know, I really do. I believe things can happen, and it can leave its imprint on space and time. You know,
Yeah, man.
or can damage it. You know, and uh, that's where the whole interdimensional thing comes in. That you know, I, I I just don't know about interdimensional. You know, and I'm sure it exists, and you know, I just don't know that much about it to really, I guess, speak on it. But yeah,
Well, well, I mean, the frustrating thing about the interdimensional thing is I don't know what that means. Like, I have an idea of what it implies, what the
right.
science implies, right? The concept of like there being a essentially like a whole realm, a world that's vibrating at a very specific frequency that exists in a way that we can't see or physically interact with it, but it's right here.
It's
Well, it's
right
right,
there. It's right around
right here.
all of
Yeah.
them.
So I get the concept, but how do you make sense of any of this stuff, right? Is it interdimensional? Is it extra? Because it could be a technology, it could be, but if I just the only thing for me is I have a very difficult time grasping the idea that someone, even something out there, has technology that's so advanced that let's put it this way. When we do things like fly in space and travel to another universe and use a cell phone, things that back in the day would be considered magic, right? It's, oh, look at these wizards. They have these the pieces of glass and they can see video, like they can see people on there with like places we've never been and they're not really there, but they're there. That would be like magic to people. We're not talking about that. We're talking about people butt naked walking into your bedroom and, you know, like they're not using anything. They're just themselves
Right. Yeah.
showing up in your room. That seems to me more like a spiritual, interdimensional, whatever,
Right.
ghostly type of experience versus a technological one.
yeah, and that I guess that kind of goes back to what I was saying that what if it's just like a tear, like some kind of torn fabric of space and time where things can come in and out of,
And
uh,
light's associated, right? Light,
yeah,
different types of light and colors of light. Light is a huge presence in all the paranormal and UFO phenomena.
and someone in the comments said manifestations. I think people can manifest stuff too. I truly do. Uh, a good example is a friend of mine. He was moving into a house, and you kind of touched on it too, actually too. When you talk about people who like dabble with the Ouija board or whatever. A friend of mine, he moved into a house, and as they were moving in, they found out that the previous owner had terminal cancer, and he ended his life. We'll just say that in the kitchen. And because one of the neighbors was like, "Hey, you got Jack's house, huh?" And he was like, "Who's Jack?" He goes, "Well, Jack used to live here," and he told him a story about Jack. So my friend goes to the kitchen because he said when he had met the owners, it was a daughter. She was she was renting the house out, and they were redoing the cabinets. He goes to the cabinets and he opens up the cabinet. He starts looking at the wall. He can tell where they kind of spackled over the wall, and you could tell there was a hole in the wall. So anyway, he starts flicking the lights on and off, and he's telling his wife, "Jack's gonna get you. Jack's gonna get you." Right. Well, after that, they had some weird paranormal stuff that really scared him. That was really kind of aggressive towards them, and he thinks he brought that on by doing that, and he probably did. And it's still to this day, this is like, man, his daughter's like 25, 26 years old. And because when she was a little kid, she was, they woke up like 3 o'clock in the morning. He didn't come to work that morning. And they were like, yeah, his daughter fell out of the bed and knocked out her tooth, right? I said, oh, damn, okay. So when I saw him again, he said that she's screaming bloody murder. They go to her room, and she has a toddler bed. He goes, it's maybe like a foot off the ground. And they have carpet in that room also. And he says, we pick her up and we look and she's missing her front tooth.
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
He goes, but not only is it like missing, he says, but it looked like her tooth had so much pressure going forward inwards that it ripped her gum. When it came out.
No. Jeez.
And they found her tooth 10 feet away.
Oh, that's
yeah.
weird, man. No, that's weird.
Yeah,
wait, before you finish that story, we got to go to our first break.
Okay.
Please remember where we are. I will remember. This is creepy. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, Joe's going to finish that story and tell us obviously much more. So hang tight. I'm so sorry. We got to go to break before we, before I get to the
great place to leave it. Oh, man.
Okay. All right. Hang tight, everyone. Hang tight. Hang tight.
As the night falls and the stars align, Coley Marquis show takes us on a ride through the cosmos, the unknown, where mysteries of the universe are shown. Questions arise, your curiosity grows. Are we alone? Only time knows. UFOs, aliens, paranormal sights. Experts share their knowledge under the lights. Did the government recover a crashed UFO? Oh, alien bodies hidden, where do they go? Sean Max Daily and Agenda. the truth's been told. Conspiracies and cover-ups entwine. As we search for answers, will we find? In the shadows, the truth awaits. UFOs, aliens, paranormal sights. Experts share the knowledge under the lights. Did the government recover a crashed UFO? Or alien bodies hidden, where do they go? Sean Mack's alien agenda. Is it right? Will the truth finally come to light? The secrets of the universe unfold in a facility where the truth's been told. Conspiracies and cover-ups entwine. As we search for answers, will we find? In the shadows, the truth awaits. In the shadows, the truth awaits. UFOs, aliens, paranormal sights. Experts share the knowledge under the lights. Did the government recover a crashed UFO? Or alien bodies hidden, where do they go? Sean Mack's alien agenda. Is it right? Will the truth finally come to light?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It is great to be back. We got to get back to this creepy story. So
Yes.
the little girl, the daughter, she had lost her tooth when they went to see, after hearing these blood curdling screams. When they went to check on her, not only was a tooth missing, you said it looked like there was pressure applied to the tooth, pushing inwards,
Yeah,
so much so that it tore the gum,
yeah.
and the tooth was on another part of the room.
Yeah. It was. It looked like it went in, like someone applied a lot of pressure going in, so that the roots came out this way, and tore her gum up. She had to get stitches in her gum, um, and they couldn't find her tooth. It should have been laying right there next to her in the bed, or on the floor.
Yeah, yeah.
And they found it 10 feet away. And like I said, he goes, her toddler bed is only a foot off the ground, and plus it was carpet area, you know. And you know exactly how resilient toddlers are,
Yeah.
They can take some nasty falls, right? But to knock a tooth out and it wind up across the room,
Yeah.
it was just the weirdest thing for them to see. And so, like after that, he started seeing what people call the Hat Man, right? And he was
Like the
laying in bed.
Slender Man?
Yeah,
The
he saw a guy walk in front of his room, down the hallway, past his bedroom door. He was laying in bed watching TV, and he saw the guy walk right in front of his bedroom door, and he had on the black trench coat and the black hat, like a fedora type hat, which I saw that guy too when I was like 21. We'll tell you that story too.
Mm.
And he got up, he grabbed his shotgun, he looked through his house, couldn't find anybody. His wife said that when she got home, he was asleep on the couch with a shotgun in his arms,
Wow.
And
Oh no.
she's like, "What are you doing?" And he told her what he saw. And when I had talked to him about it, he goes, "This." I asked him, I said, "Did it look like a real person? Did it look like, was it like transparent or whatever?" He goes, "No." He goes, "It looked like," he looked like a real person, like a person was actually in my house. And so like after that, after those incidents, his wife, because we work nights, we would get home late at night, and his wife would go stay a couple of streets over at her dad's house. So when he would pull in the driveway, he'd be like, "Hey, I'm here." She'd drive, here to the house, and they'd go inside the house together. But he wouldn't go in the house by himself either. So he said one day he was parked in his driveway. He goes, and I saw that same guy in my kitchen walking through my, past the kitchen window. They had these big windows, and he walked through his kitchen. So he called his brother-in-law up, they all live in the same neighborhood together, and they went in there, both with firearms and didn't find anybody. So a few weeks later, they were at his father-in-law's house. They were barbecuing, and he tells his father-in-law about what's been happening. And his father goes, the other day I was walking my dog, and we passed your house. He goes, and I saw a guy standing in the middle of the road looking at your house, and he had a black trench coat and a black hat.
That's weird.
Yeah. And they went down another street, and they came back around. They made like a big U-turn. And when they were coming back down my buddy's street, the guy was walking away, and so Dexter started following him with his dog. And when they got to the edge where the guy made a right turn down the next street, when they got there to the corner, they looked down. He said the guy was gone, and he's like, I don't know where he could have went. Yeah,
I've heard of the Slender Man. Is that kind of what you think it was? I don't know how many times I've heard people talk about this.
I hear the word Slender Man. I hear the word Hat Man, Top Hat Man. I don't know if they're all the same thing or not, but I call him the Hat Man, and the way he described them, wearing the black trench coat and the fedora style hat, I refer to that as the Hat Man.
So do you think that it was from our time, or do you think that it was something else, like different?
I think it was something else. I think it was. I would say more supernatural. I would think that's a supernatural being rather than a paranormal being. That's just what I think. I don't know. I don't have any evidence to hey, here you go. But
man, I'd love to get in that house and investigate.
No, we don't. I mean, listen, man. The evidence is the experiencer.
Right,
they are the evidence. So
yeah.
I want to just experience it, explore it. I would love to.
No, you don't. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I do. Oh my God.
Holy, this girl.
Let me in. Yes.
When I was 21, I was still living at home, and I was in my bed. It was late at night, and I look up. I don't know why I wake up, but I look, and there's a guy standing by my closet, and he's wearing a trench coat and this damn fedora hat. And he comes over there towards me, and he stands above me, and I'm trying to call my dad's name out, and I can't even call. Nothing's coming out. And at this time, I was young, and I was crazy. I was crazy as hell. That's probably why he visited me. I could reach under my bed, and I grabbed my shotgun, and I forced myself to roll over, and I got up. I had a pistol grip Mossberg, and I pumped it, and he was gone. And I didn't tell anybody this for a long time, and I finally told my mom about it. This is maybe a few months later. So, we didn't know what was the purpose of that. And so years later down the road, my niece, she moves in there. She had got married, and she moved in her mom's house. She stayed in my exact same room. Well, her husband saw this guy too in that same exact room.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this was years apart. I don't know, maybe 10, 12 years later. Yeah, she saw. Well, her husband saw the same guy. Scared the hell out of him too. And then I don't know, maybe another 10, 12 years later, my nephew, my sister wound up moving back in with my mom, and so she was staying in my old room. And my nephew, he was little. He's maybe 4 or 5 years old, but he started screaming. He went under the bed, and my sister couldn't get him out of the bed for nothing. She had to call my brother-in-law, hey, you need to come home because he won't get out from underneath the bed. So he had to leave work, come home, and he had to coax him. Hey, come on, get out, get out. He just kept saying, the man, the man, the man. There's a man there, and that's all he would say. So we all think that he saw the same guy. Scared the hell out of him too.
So my one of my daughters, she one night she was in her room cleaning up by herself, and she has many sisters and brothers, so she's by herself this one time. And I remember I was in the hall. I walked upstairs in the hallway, and I don't know why, but I saw down the hallway. She would just stand there folding clothes, and she just stops, completely stops. She looks directly in front of her, which to me was to her right, to my right, but directly in front of her. And then she just stops, and she looks for a few seconds, and I'm like, what is she looking at? And then she just screams and starts wailing, crying, and runs towards me. And she hugs me, and she's like, she couldn't talk. She was so distraught. She couldn't speak at all. She's crying, she's yelling. And I finally get her to calm down. I'm like, what happened? She said there was a man standing in the window over there. Now, let me tell you something. The window she's referring to is connected to my room, which has there's a walk-in closet that used to be a balcony. They closed it off, made it a walk-in closet. And at the very end of that walk-in closet is a tiny little, it's a small window that sees into the kids' room. And she said that on my side, on our side in that closet, there was a man standing there, and he did not look like a regular person. He was really tall, creepy man, and he just grinned. He grinned at her. And I don't know what to make of that, because how do you I mean, what do I say? That's the only thing that's ever happened to any of the kids.
Right.
But it was creepy. This just reminds me of, how weird that was at that time.
Yeah.
But they're almost never alone. But now, even after that, somehow they're still not afraid. We had the whole house like sage and all that stuff like that, cleansed, just in case. I don't even believe in that stuff, but I don't take chances. Like whatever it is, people say it works, I'm gonna do it. Like
yeah, my brother, he's a pastor, so he's always blessing the house. Yeah. After every incident, he wound up blessing the house. He had like the oil, and he put the cross on the doors. Especially on that room, which was my original room. And so my mom still lives in this house, and it's a house that I pretty much grew up in. We moved in there in 1976, so I was like 5 or 6 years old, and so I there all my life, and mom still lives there. We don't. That's not a house with like all this paranormal activity or nothing bad ever happened there, because we were only the second owners of the house. Those people prior to us only lived in the house 5 or 6 years themselves before they moved, and it was a new neighborhood, so none of the other neighbors ever said anything strange happened in their house, and we were really tight with all the neighbors, and they knew of some of the stuff that had happened there. So it's not like we have like all this continuous activity, right? It's always like stuff that, years and years
long
apart.
period of times. Yeah.
Yeah. So like this one time, my mom was asleep on the couch, and you got those little throw pillows that women love having everywhere, right? So so she got hit in the face with one. Yeah. So she got hit in the face with one, right? And she woke up, and there's this little boy sitting on the couch. You see, sitting down, cross-legged, Uh, it's a all Hispanic neighborhood basically. He's a little white kid, blonde hair, blue eyes. He's got on white pajamas. I mean, she described him. He's got on white pajamas with the red trimming, like around, big white buttons, and like little cars and trucks printed on his pajamas. And my mom's like, she goes, I don't know why I asked him, but I just asked him, how did you die? And he points.
Wow.
He goes, not like that. And he gets off the couch, and as he's walking towards the garage, he just disappears.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I don't know what that
is so
is.
crazy.
And I'm like, why did you ask him that? She goes, I don't know. She goes, that's just what I asked him.
She knew, almost like she knew. Like there's
Yeah.
some kind of internal knowing about that. This is what bothers me. I feel like this is an element. We investigate. I should say I study. Coley is an investigator. I am a researcher.
Right.
I have researched and studied these different types of phenomena, and I think that I like what you said. You said that they're not necessarily connected, but they do. There's some overlap between them.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate, because I think that's a better description of what I think is happening as well. I do think that some of this stuff there's something about the nature of the supernatural that is bleeding, it's kind of bleeding into our reality, or whatever you want to call it. And it's real, and it's happening to so many. I don't think I've met someone who hasn't had something happen to them,
Or know somebody, right?
I don't know. I don't know many people. There are a few, but honestly, there are less people that haven't had something happen to them than have, in my personal experience. And I think that's kind of like the whatever is going on, it's happening to all of us. Most of us don't talk about it.
Right.
We don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Why not?
So,
That doesn't, the paranormal does not scare me a bit at all. To me, that's like the world, I get excited about that stuff. Did you ever feel like you were threatened or anything in that environment? Or like, I've
you
never
know,
come across a poltergeist or anything,
yeah,
but
I've never been scared. When I saw
right.
the Hat Man, it scared the hell out of me because this is a man in my
Yeah.
room that I didn't.
Mm.
And so you're talking about when this happened. This was prior. Man, I was 21, so I was 91, 92. It was well prior to the internet. You
Yeah.
know, when I met my buddy, he told me about it. It was well prior to the internet too. Like I said, his daughter's like 26, maybe 27 now. Um, she was like 5 when this happened. So this is, well before the internet was established. So I didn't know what a Hat Man was, until I started looking into it. And when I discovered it, I called him up right away. I said, "Hey, this is what this dude's called. They're calling him a Hat Man." And he looked into it too, and he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "From what he researched and online, he said that's what I think I saw too was the Hat Man." Uh, but even now, like I said, still to this day, if I called him right now and we talked about it, he would like feel so bad. He feels really bad about that. He's never like
Why?
forgiven himself for it. He just does because he was saying Jack's gonna get you, Jack's gonna get you. So he thinks he invoked. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
no.
he
That's
thinks he invoked that.
terrifying.
And I was honest with him. I said you probably did, but it wasn't like you did it intentional. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just wonder this phenomenon with the Hat Man, the Slender Man, whoever it is. I've heard it from so many people. It just boggles my mind on what it actually is,
Mhm.
and how it. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about people all across the world have run into this
Yeah.
Hat Man, Slender Man, and it's unbelievable. My son was super afraid of him. He was watching a show on YouTube that was talking about it, and people were giving their testimonies on how they had seen or come across it. But yeah, that's really, man. I'm glad to know someone firsthand who's experienced it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard it from so many people.
Well, so listen. I gotta say to my skeptics out there, again, my audience knows me. So Joe,
They're on the
I don't
wrong
want to.
channel.
This,
No,
yeah,
I'm joking.
this ain't about me, Joe. But let me just tell you, I am a cerebral guy. The chat and all my listeners know I'm the kind of guy that I think about things from a logical perspective. Philosophy and psychology are my thing. Before all this stuff, technology is a huge thing for me, so I'm very good at sequence and logic and things like that. So when I hear someone say something, when I used to, let me be clear, when I used to hear someone say something like Hat Man, Mothman, which we all know that the lore behind that, it would frustrate me. These are very simplistic descriptions of these encounters. Hat Man, there's a whole person there. It's a shadow. It's like, why do you call him a Hat Man? Mothman, what is it? A bug person? Why do they call it that? And by the way, Mothman isn't even the shape of a moth. It's not even that. Like, what is it? But when you know the lore behind it and you understand the way that the visceral reaction from the experience, from the person that's having this experience, you understand why. That it has much more meaning to it to hear, because as someone in the chat said, Hat Man with a question mark, almost as if to say, come on. All seriousness, these names, these descriptors, they have a visceral connection to the experiencer. And unless you know the story, it
Yeah.
sounds ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous. It did to me. It doesn't anymore. Now I'm like, what's the story behind that name? Why do they call it Slender Man? What and the name carries almost a chill to it now
Yeah.
because we all know what that means. Everybody knows what Slender Man is. There's a chill to that name,
Did you
you
read?
know.
Did you ever do research on the Hat Man? I just looked it up. I thought that
I've done some research on
he
that, man.
appears in people's bedrooms when they're falling asleep or waking up, often wearing a dark coat and hat, anywhere from 6 to 10 foot tall. So when you saw him, Joe, like when I see spirits, they're usually like, you can kind of like they're translucent to an
Yeah.
extent. So when you saw him, was it like a shadow figure? Was
Oh
it
no, this was like a man. He was
like a man?
like a
Okay.
man, and he was taller than the closet door. So
Oh
I don't know
wow,
how
that's
tall.
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was at least a head taller. So close to 7 feet. If he wasn't 7 feet, he was
Oh
tall.
wow, yeah. So it
Yeah.
falls right into place.
Yeah.
Wow.
Joe, I think it was last week. I was upset because maybe it was a week before. I was upset because I was talking about a being that I saw when I was a kid. This creature, this really tall, horned, slender creature that looked like a demon. It had this really weird, ominous grin, and it was really fast. And it would like peer around the corner at my grandmother's house when I went to the bathroom. Everybody knows the story, but that's the story behind that. And I was talking to the audience about it, and they were like, "Oh, that's this one creature. What is it called? Crimpet or Crimpus or something?"
Baphomet. Are you talking about with
No,
the backward
Krampus.
legs?
Krampus, yeah, Krampus. They said, "Oh,
Krampus.
that's Krampus."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" And I Googled Krampus, and ironically enough, it's a half goat, half demon monster that punishes misbehaving children. I was
Right.
a terrible,
I
terrible
shouldn't
child.
laugh. Are you sure it wasn't
Really?
Baphomet? Because that's what I thought it looked like.
I don't know. Well, the
Huh.
the, the way that I described it was that of Baphomet, but when I saw that creature, that Krampus creature, it was that.
Yeah,
It
there's
was a
actually a
Krampus.
movie, right?
Yeah, which is again that makes me mad because seriously, as a matter of fact, my daughter, the reason why it was kind of like one of the most terrifying moments of my life was when I had told my children about this creature that I saw when I was a kid, and they called it my demon. So when I got
Hmm.
older, I told them about this story, and one day, a couple years after I told my daughter, my oldest daughter said, "Daddy, Daddy, I found your demon." The most terrifying words of my life because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I brought this creature. This is real, first of all. Not
I
only is
mean,
it real, but did I bring this thing into my daughter's life? I also try to rationalize she's just, she's a kid. Maybe she saw a cartoon or something like that. And, just so happens to be coincidentally this creature. She shows me a video of a YouTuber talking about this creature. It is exactly the speed, the type of creature, that grin, all that stuff. I don't remember the name of it at the time because this happened years ago, but I thought, oh my gosh, this is beyond confirmation because it could have been it could have been a dream, it could have been a hallucination, it could have been my fears, who knows, right? But to hear my daughter confirm with a video of the exact description of this creature, and then unfortunately the audience telling me what the heck the name of this thing, it frustrates me, but it also confirms something else that within ancient lore, ancient that is in England, in that is like the Greek gods and the Egyptians and the African lore, all these different Indians would talk about these giants, these blue giants that ate people. They were literally human. They ate humans. All this lore, I think there's something to all of it. I think it's all real, relevant,
yeah,
and as a little twisted mention, people associate with what they know. In the Bible, they call UFO chariots. However, the one thing that I will say, in contrast, there are these creatures and beings and encounters. They're also sometimes unanimous among cultures that have never seen or heard of them before. So, what do you make of that?
yeah.
You know,
I think they've always been here, and I think they're not just for one culture, They're this is their realm also, if that makes any sense.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because like you said, the Hat Man's a perfect example. Every culture has seen it. Every culture has experienced it on every continent, you know. So yeah, I think they're always here, and I think they're just one of the entities that are make themselves known here.
I used to wonder if there's an ultimate agenda. Not so sure anymore. I think that it's a bunch of different things.
Hmm.
I used to think it was maybe one thing, but now I think it's a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
So anyway, other stories you got for? I mean, what other stories you got for? Because I know you got more. But
Can
come
we
on, man.
talk about Bigfoot? I've been waiting to hear Joe's story about Bigfoot.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've never had a full on sighting, right? But I've seen flashes of fur here and there. I've seen silhouettes in the night. I've seen the eye shine, these bright reddish orange eye shine. Um, One of the strangest things that happened, um, I was when I first started going out, right? I was in this one area of the San Luis forest, and my ex is like, "Hey, look, there's something up over there." And she points. It's maybe 60 feet away from us, and there's a bunch of brush in the way, so it's pretty tall. And we see these trees. I'm like, yeah, there it goes right there, because I saw this red flash go across like that. She goes, no, not there. She goes, further over. She goes, there's something over here. So me and my brother-in-law walk over there. We have to work our way through that brush, and we get to the trees, and we look around. We couldn't find anything. We come back, and my ex is like, no. She goes, whatever it was way taller than you and Patrick. Because she goes, there were some areas we couldn't even see you, and I'm 5'8", and the brush was like over my head. So whatever she saw and I saw was way taller than the brush. And what was funny was that, like the next day, I said, so what exactly happened? And she told me that she's heard like a branch snap, and she looked, she was kind of scanning, and when she got to that area, she saw something like go behind a tree, like the duck behind a tree. She goes, it was dark gray and it had really like, uh, she goes, fur, hair, whatever. It looked like it was really thick, almost like seaweed, I was like, okay. So as I got talking to more and more people and started meeting people from this area, come to find out, a big gray one had been seen in that area
Oh
by
wow.
quite a few people. Yeah, and I've actually talked to two people who had seen a big gray one in that same exact area. Um, so I think she saw the big gray one, even though it was for a glimpse. Um, then it probably was probably about 2015. Um, but I was getting really, really good at this kind of stuff, right, and learning a lot more. I was going down this creek and I found a 3-inch track, a little bitty 3-inch footprint, like a baby's footprint in the creek, you know. And I'm like, who lets their babies walk around barefooted in the
Right.
San Eastern forest, where there's snakes everywhere, you know? Why would you let your kid walk around like that? So then again in 2019, I was going down that same creek. I found an 8-inch print. Yeah, an 8-inch print in that same creek, a little bit further down, but it was, and again, who would let their kids walk around barefooted?
Mhm.
And in this time, it was like had to be May or June, which is snake season down here. And yeah, you don't walk down these creeks barefooted. You just don't. And it was coming out of some thick brush, you know. That brush I wouldn't try to get into without a machete. So yeah, that was
What, what do you what do you think so Bigfoot? You think Bigfoot is a creature or something else?
I think it's a flesh and blood creature. I don't think it's anything other than flesh and blood. I know there's people that think it's interdimensional, but if you're going to go with that, then we got to start talking about people who think that they turn into orbs or they come from orbs, because there's a sect that believes they come from orbs. There's a sect that believes they cloak. There's a sect that believes that they are aliens, flying around in UFOs.
Or that they're pets? I heard someone tell me
Oh
that
yeah,
they think they're
yeah,
pets
that
too.
that they're pets.
Oh,
There's someone posted like a list, and it was like 10 or 12 different things that
right.
people say that they're from. And so, if we're going to entertain any of this other stuff, we got to entertain everything. And what I think is that there's truly a flesh and blood creature, but I think that there are other entities that may be um, thrown into the batch. I think there's probably some supernatural stuff. I think paranormal stuff gets thrown into Bigfoot. I think there's definitely misidentification. Um, but I think Bigfoot itself, Sasquatch, whatever people want to call it, because people get offended when you say Bigfoot too. Believe it or
Why?
not.
They
Wait,
do?
what's
Oh
wrong
no.
with that?
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. They're all over Facebook. If you mention Bigfoot to the right person, they'll be like, they don't like it when you call them that. Like,
Oh boy. Come on
yes.
now.
Oh yes.
I would
Anyway,
offend them like yeah, I
yeah.
Oh
always say I'm a
no!
degenerate from Generation X.
Oh
I call
no!
So
it.
now I say Bigfoot almost exclusively.
I'm
Oh,
yeah, just to be like, oh yeah.
yeah.
All
But
right.
yeah.
Oh,
So I don't think they're anything. People get mad too, but I don't think they're anything special other than just not recognized by the scientific community. I don't think they do anything special. I don't think they're jumping through portals. I don't think they're cloaking. People. Oh, there's another sect that says they turn into rocks or they turn into trees. Yeah.
I mean, that
So
would kind of be like them cloaking, right? They're just like using
yeah.
cloak. I don't. I mean, I
That
can't
go
make
along with the
sense of all
moving
that.
trees. Have you seen that? Do you believe in the moving trees?
No, I
I
don't believe.
saw. I had to ask.
Well, wait a
I'm
minute,
like, if
wait a
the
minute, wait a minute.
trees started
Aren't there
moving.
there are
Yeah.
moving trees, aren't there? I thought there were real
Mm,
moving trees. They don't move
Oh
very
yeah,
far,
when
but
the wind blows, but that's about it.
no,
no,
but they
like
show like these trees, how
Yeah,
they're
I
like,
know. I don't.
and
I
I'm
don't.
like,
I don't.
come
I
on.
believe it.
I have to see it to believe it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to talk to somebody who
no,
really
look,
is.
guys. So this I can't pronounce this. The Socrate exorhisa. They're walking trees. They literally like move. They don't like pick up and like, hey, what's up, man? I'm trying to, see where the ladies at. But I mean, they
No,
like
I'm just
they
yeah, where they
move.
kind of like across. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I thought I was going
I
like what?
that's I don't know. I probably run. There's very few things I'd run from. A snake would be one of them, and maybe a moving tree. That was
Yeah. I'd
creepy
have to see
closer.
it. Now I believe trees. Just like all life, feel and think and react, and all that. You know, there's plenty of evidence of trees reacting towards other trees and towards other kind of threats. So
I mean, these are like literally creeping across
yeah,
like the
yeah.
thing.
I've seen those videos.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I question
Oh,
everything nowadays, especially with AI.
oh
I
yeah,
think
Yes,
that's
yes.
hard.
AI
AI
is gonna
and
wreck it. They're gonna wreck it.
Photoshop is so good nowadays.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
really tough.
Photoshop is a thing of the past now. Now
Yeah,
you can say, "Hey, make me a video of Bigfoot walking in the forest and make it look like a real live video," and
yeah,
it will literally. I mean, we could do it right now. I could develop a picture in a couple seconds where I give a description of that, and it creates that image of a real live Bigfoot looking creature with skin or fur and everything.
yeah,
And you're like, "Look, a brand new Bigfoot photo. How can we tell anymore?" I
yeah.
mean, I
That's
don't.
And,
I
nuts.
and
saw.
then you start having to look at other parts of the picture to say, okay, well, this isn't right. Or, that's how you
Hold
can
on
kind
one
of,
second. We're
yeah,
gonna
You know,
test this
they
yeah,
out.
they
yeah.
come
There's,
up it's crazy, and I'm like, how I said it's gonna wreck everything because you can't trust videos anymore, you can't trust pictures anymore, and that used to be the thing, like, your evidence, it's like, yeah, it really bothers me that that's available, it really does.
I think a lot of
Especially
people use it
yeah,
for not good uses. you know.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what's really aggravating aren't just those pictures that are generated, but the people who believe that they're real, and then they start passing them around. You know,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I'm like,
I
stop.
saw one the other day and everybody's like, "Oh, they're just haters." And I said, "Why don't you post the whole video then if this was I mean, it was clearly AI, like there was
Yeah,
no doubt in my mind. But it was by somebody who was trying to out advocating for him. And I'm like, if you're gonna do it, then go do it right. Don't show us some, and it was just like bizarro.
yeah,
Here, I'm like, you guys, where's the video? You got to watch the
yeah.
video before you
And I
make a
hear that all
video.
the time. Well, this guy, he has the full 10-minute video of a Bigfoot, running across, his field. Well, let's see the video then. You're
Yeah,
showing me this
right.
little snippet of a blur that you can't make anything out of. But then you're telling me that someone's got, all this video footage,
Yeah,
It's just like,
bring it, right?
yeah,
I'll entertain that
yeah.
if but yeah,
Mhm.
it's really frustrating. I remember Marquise and I talking about this like a year ago, and I'm like,
Mhm.
it's AI is gonna wreck our pictures and our videos and everything else where we're not going to be able to tell. Now, it's like the original ones, but from here on out forward, it's like everybody's like, oh, is that real? Or oh, there's AI, or it's just it's put it. I just wish it wasn't there, but that's my
Well, I think
opinion.
there's like some kind of filter you can run pictures through too to determine whether they're AI or not.
Well, there is,
Yeah.
but I
But no
think
one's
that
gonna
with
do it. Yeah.
well, there's that
I
puppy.
will.
Was that puppy? You guys see the puppy? The image of like the video of the puppies. They were like they were in the snow and they were just like shaking their head back and forth. I'll pull it up because this is creepy. It's crazy that it's possible to even do this. Hold on one second. Anyway, watch this. This is crazy, guys. I honestly could not believe this. OpenAI created a new program called Sora, and they demonstrated it with. Watch this. This is wild. You are not. I couldn't believe this. I was like, "What is this?" All right, ready? Give me one sec. Pull it up. Share. Present. Here we go. Take a look. This is not real. This is AI generated. Like, how is that even possible?
Right.
I have no idea how they did this, man. But it's strange.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not real. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah, creepy,
Ooh.
crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
I sent you something on Messenger. I don't
Let me
know if
check
you
it out.
got it yet.
One sec. I see it. Can I show it, or do you want me to?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. One sec here.
That was the print I got in 2019.
There it is.
Oh,
See it?
And I just
wow.
yeah, and it was an 8-inch print, and I just sent the video to you. I don't know if you can do the video or
Well,
Hold on 1 second.
2019 we can trust yet.
not.
Hold on. I got the video. Hold on 1 second. Let me make it
So you said it was 8 inches. I'm just seeing what size foot it is.
So we have radio listeners. So if you could please describe the video that we're about to see here.
So the video was in a San Houston forest. It was way off trail. I don't know, maybe a quarter mile. It was in the creek.
With a big toe, that's about as big as Bigfoot.
Yeah, I mean, whose kid is out here barefooted?
Oh,
And
you were
you,
saying
yeah,
that. Yeah.
and you can look down that creek when the camera pans up. My niece was actually with me that day, and we come across and behind me. It's kind of hard to tell, but there's nothing but brush behind me. So
That's crazy.
See, the thing is, this is the evidence that I've seen. I've seen people post things like, by the way, I once saw an image of fur that was left behind and an analysis of that fur as well. The analysis of the fur, I can't remember we're talking like 5 years ago, but the analysis of the fur was interesting. I didn't quite understand. I'm not a geneticist, so I didn't understand the genealogy of behind why they thought it was something that was interesting. But I also know that at least from that analysis, it wasn't they lost the fur was lost somehow during the transferring of the fur from the lab to the person that owned it, which again is also reminiscent of how people who have UFO material, sometimes they send it off to be studied and then it's gone. It's disappeared.
Right.
They study it, they send the results back, and they're like, "Oh, we lost it. Sorry." It's like, huh? How does that happen? What do you mean you lost it? How often does stuff like that happen? Why does it always happen to UFO and Bigfoot and all that? I don't know what that is. I think so listen to this. Do you know who Diana Pasulka is?
I don't think so.
So Diana Pasulka, she has been in the airwaves in the UFO field for a long time. She's a religious professor at the University of North Carolina, and she wrote a couple books. One of them is called American Cosmic. That's kind of what made her kind of put her on the map of that book, American Cosmic. She was referred. Her book was referred by or endorsed by Gary Nolan, and she talks about the phenomena and how there's like a whole supernatural, or she doesn't. This is my word, supernatural, but like a supernatural effect. Think about an apparition, a manifestation of a person or an entity, of a foot or a hand, or in this case, fur potentially. Bigfoot. A lot of people, the evidence, it's always a remnant, a piece of fur, footprint, clay imprint, but never like a whole foot, a whole body. Up like there's no carcass of Bigfoot. Only one time have I seen someone claim that they have the head of a Bigfoot, and I don't know. I mean, I can't really, it was a documentary about the guy. He claimed he had a head of a Bigfoot. I don't know, man. There's no analysis that's been released on that, so I don't have any real credence to that. But it's always something like that, just like with UFOs, though. So I'm wondering, like a UFO or an alien encounter or a ghost encounter, there's not a lot of evidence. Ectoplasms left behind by some ghost encounters, or maybe an image or a picture of like a 1920s black and white, photo, but nothing that's concrete enough for scientists to take and develop and really study. Nothing like that. Why do you think that is?
I think they have. I just don't think they're sharing or releasing any of that information. I think the government's fully aware of this creature that's been walking around, all over the planet. Really, the different species. Some governments actually recognize it more than others, but I think our government is fully aware of it. I think, who knows why they don't. So there's a few trains of thought on why. One of them is that if Bigfoot is a type of human, then they would have human rights also, right? If they are a um, any kind of like primate, can you imagine the uproar that people would come forward? Hey, leave this animal alone. Because the spotted owl really crippled the logging industry in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, right? So if it's known that there's a primate running around the forest, even if it's just a non-human primate, all logging would stop. And I was reading an article about logging, and logging accounts for a third of our economy.
Whew.
When you consider not just the wood that we use the wood for, but like
Yeah.
people who build houses, you're talking about people that provide shingles, plumbing, electrical work, piling, concrete, metal, steel, plastic. All they would be out of a job too, you know. So uh, it would really cripple our economy if logging came to a stop. Logging came to a stop, and so I think they're just trying to keep the lid on it as much as they can, or maybe the government just doesn't care, about who cares about Bigfoot.
I think that was probably one of the most compelling arguments I've ever heard. Yeah, think about that. So if there is a creature that's humanoid, another argument that I've heard, one that I also find very compelling, is if let's just say, for example, that this primate, this humanoid figure or humanoid being, not only is it real but it could be, maybe it ruins the idea of evolution, that we evolved. Maybe
Right.
it's
like the missing link.
I mean, either that or maybe it's a thing that, well, I mean, missing link. Yeah, you could say that. Why not? So what if the aliens took a Bigfoot specimen, mix it with something else, and then created us? Or ad infinitum, any other potential example of what would ruin the modern standard or the modern belief. I use it as a religious term, belief in how human beings have come to be. If the scientific community, with their religious alignment with the theory of evolution, were to receive evidence that destroys that theory, well, that would be a big deal. They also don't like, the scientific community will fight that too. They did it with other scientists in history.
Yeah.
So I can imagine them being like, look, we can't tell people because guess what? This will ruin evolution. We got to keep that theory that we all came from a single-celled organism or a pile of soup that got electrocuted with them and turned into amino acids. And now look, we can write books and stuff. A nice fairy tale.
Yeah.
But,
I think people that believe are always going to believe,
yeah.
And
And you have
religiously.
to. I don't know. It is definitely a controversial topic when you go down that road, but
yeah, it is.
It's all a part of it. There's got to be a link though that connects them. And I've never ever experienced a Bigfoot. And I've gone out looking. I've had noise. I've heard the sound. But I've never personally witnessed it. But there's a farm probably 20 miles from here, and they've had 6 sightings. And then there's been some other things. So I thought maybe I'll just go out there and see if they'll let me go around and explore a little bit, try and find Bigfoot. But yeah, my neighbor's like, you got to take a McDonald's cheeseburger or something with you.
No.
I was going to take Marquise and wrap.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I
forgot about that. I'm so glad you brought that back up. That was comical. Oh boy.
So Joe, we don't have a lot of time now. Why don't you, if you could, please tell people where they can find you on your socials. If you link me the socials in our chat, I will post it in the. A lot of people don't do this, by the way. Please, if you link me them, I will post them in the description of the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So,
Modem too.
and you can go to anything, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Type in my name, you'll find me, or type in Beyond the Woodline, you'll find me. I'm also on Spotify. Um, yeah, I'm on Spotify and of course YouTube. Just type in Beyond the Woodline and you'll find my shows and stuff. And on Spotify, I have a different segment just called Woodline Encounters. That's the only place you can find those, and those are dealing with actual witnesses who encountered, whether it be paranormal, UFOs, or cryptids. And for the most part, I've talked to a lot of researchers and investigators, and those are the regular shows. And of course, they have their experiences too. But the Woodline Encounter segment is the deeper uh, dive into the experiencers themselves. So, yeah,
I was
I
on
think
Joe's
hard to
show.
find.
I was
Not hard
very
to find.
impressed. Yeah, he's a great host. So definitely check out his channel. Well
Yeah,
worth
and
it.
just gonna say on a phone note, everyone, I think that Joe is doing important work. Again, I'm a researcher. I am I study the phenomena and paranormal and supernatural, and I talk to people about Bigfoot. I am not the person out there you're the one that's doing I think one of the people that's doing kind of like on the ground work. You're actually getting involved in this. You're also, you're creating a group where you're investigating this stuff as a collective, which I think is extremely important. And again, to your last comment where you said that you bring on people that have had experiences. We do want to do that eventually. I think it's a little bit more difficult to find a lot of people with experiences and then have to vet them and all that. That's kind of difficult to do. I commend you again on that. I think it is of the utmost importance to hear from experiencers, people that have experienced things like Bigfoot, UFOs, and supernatural and paranormal activity. It's important to hear their voices because I think, and again, we all know me, I think the truth is not just in the data. I think the experiencer is the data. So
Definitely. So if anybody's in Iowa, I'm more than willing to come out and come along. I'll give Joe the data. Seriously, I
Yeah,
would
man.
love to see it. Yeah.
You have to come down to Texas and we'll get you guys straight.
Oh, really?
Texas. Oh, Texas. I don't know. They
I
might
like
not like me that much.
We
All right,
shoot
Joe. It's
guns
been
in
a pleasure,
Iowa
man.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, we should get out. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate your time today, man. And hopefully we get the
Thank
chance to
you,
talk to you
Joe.
again. Maybe when you're doing something, maybe if you have an event coming up, we'll promote for you here on the
Yeah.
show. All
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Well, I'd love
Thank
to
you.
have both you guys on the show too at some point too.
Hit me up, man.
That'd
You
be
got my
awesome.
DM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
All right, Joe.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
It's a pleasure, man.
Thank you.
Peace. That was awesome, Coley.
I know. I love
See,
Joe.
I
He's
don't
so
know a
nice.
lot. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know a lot about Bigfoot. I rely literally entirely on other investigators and researchers for the Bigfoot phenomena. It's not my specialty. It's not something I have a lot of history and learning about. I am all UFO for the most part, the NHI, whatever. Honestly, that's me. Now the paranormal, supernatural, I dabble in learning that, but Bigfoot, 100% rely on other people for that. And honestly, no one person can do everything. So it's
Right.
really good that you find these people, you get them on the show. Joe is again another one. Guys, listen, we are going to, and if I have to, I will air a blank, just a picture of Jesse's face, and I will air that audio. I do not care. We're gonna get that interview up one way or another. We just can't get the video up because for some reason the video is lost. I'm also going to send the video. I'm going to upload it to OneDrive. I'm going to send it to you, Coley.
Okay.
I can't lose this. I cannot lose this audio. I would
It
be
was a great
devastated.
interview. Yeah. Oh, I
It
know
was
you would.
so
Definitely.
good.
Yeah.
That hurt to not listen, guys. Again, I've had a few milestones in my life. Many of them you've all experienced. Some of them you have not. And Jesse was one of those milestones. Jesse's interview was very important to me because when it comes to data, evidence, when it comes to fact-based investigations that have data and evidence, I am all about it. And Jesse brought it. He came with it. So we're gonna get that.
I wasn't
We're going to
expecting
get
it to go that way, but it was very fascinating. Very fascinating.
I wasn't either. I was like, oh wow. And then we've been talking. We chatted, we chat here and there since then. And I don't know.
We need to bring him back on. I would love to see the
We-
audience questions, and I mean, I'll talk to Mike too. I know he's been texting me, asking me about it, and I was like,
Can
"Oh,
you
bet."
please apologize for the situation and tell
Mhm.
them we're going to get that audio up? We don't have the video, but if we can get him on again, we could air them both together. Maybe we can get him for another hour and then air the 2 hours or whatever time he gives us.
I
and then
think he would. Yeah, I think he would do a full interview. Like I said, if you want, I'll just include him in like a group text or group
yeah,
Facebook, and
by
that
all
way.
means, but tell him, but let him know, I have the audio. For some reason, I cannot access the video. I think that there is shenanigans going on that part. Yeah, to be honest.
Oh,
Listen, I don't care.
boy.
I'll be conspiratorial. Something's weird going on with that.
Really?
Something weird is going on with that. That's why I'm sending
Ooh.
it to you as a backup, and I'm uploading it to OneDrive as a
I
backup.
don't-
So I ain't got time for them games, fam. So, Coley, I lost your audio. Oh no. I can see you, Coley, but I can't hear you. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I don't know.
There we go.
Now,
I got you.
can
I hear you.
I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I apologize. I was on StreamYard before. I had no issues, so I don't know what
I don't
must have
know.
done something.
Coley, I don't know. Something
Oh.
weird's going on.
Oh yeah, sabotage.
Something strange. Sabotage. I'm just kidding, guys. I don't like that. Was just weird. So anyway, man, I feel like today was one of those days. I am rested. I am the most rested I've been in months, Coley, and it's all about to come to a screeching. I honestly, listen, I thought that, wow, finally things are looking up, and I'm gonna finally have some time, some leisure time to do some more engagement, time to get into the socials, time to produce. I need to make 2 more videos for our midstream video, our audio, our songs. I have some videos that I want to create for them, but I have to have the time. And I was like, okay, now I think I got it. And you know what? I'm worried that I'm going to be doing another very long week.
Well, if there's anything that I can help with, I know I'm not as talented as you are in that
Listen,
area, but
if you would like to apply for a position at my job, that would be great.
I would too right now.
I need help. I'm desperate. We need help desperately. That would help.
You're looking for a job, but yeah, contact Marquise. We'll see who we can get. Uh-oh. No, I can't hear you. This is sabotage. Oh, you heard me. Now I can hear you.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was a weird mic shift. But anyway, yes. My audio changed on the software now. So I think that my audio is no longer in the mic. I think it's on the. Anyway, it's been awesome, Coley.
It has been awesome.
Yeah, but yes. Anybody who's looking for a job in technology, if you're nice and can tolerate angry people who don't know how to use their technology, hit me up in the DMs. I need help.
Do you do virtual jobs?
No, it's gotta be. I'm joking. There's no one. I don't think anybody's even in my area that watch. The people that watch this show that are in my area, they already have. They're usually already employed, and yeah, I got some. There's still something in the works on my end. There's a very 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 interesting guest that I could have if I can get him to come on. But we'll talk about it. So anyway, chat.
Twitter. I don't know if we want to stream from Twitter too, also. But yeah,
so we're gonna get all that. We're gonna get. Listen, we are really coming up. We were so far behind on a lot of this tech stuff, and now we got it figured out. Got it smoother. It's nicer. It's cleaner. Not perfect, but far better than what it was with Streamlabs. StreamYard is like made for this. It's fantastic. I freaking love StreamYard. It's awesome. But anyway, Coley, talk to our friend Jesse.
I will.
Or Mark, Mike, whatever.
Mike.
And see what we can do. All right, guys.
Definitely.
That's all for today.
Love you.
We love you guys. And we will see you all next time on the Coley and Marquis Show. Peace.
Marquise and Coley, they're ready to go. Talking about aliens, UFOs, and the unknown. uncover the secrets that nobody knows. From aliens to UFOs, we're ready to explore. Strap in.